the loyal drums do beat, and the lovely English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with his chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lace of Gillishandra. Tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2, like the Zulus they had knives, bows and arrows. Of how bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lace of Gillishandra. Hear you tell how you stand the brave Parnell and taught them well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gillishandra.
Well, well, well. The tunes are still going, and the countdown's only just ended. I can't possibly miss out the best drop of all time. So I'm just gonna let this run.
Come out and fight without your guns. Show your wife how you won medals up in Derry. You murdered 16 men and you'll do the same again. So get out of here and take your bloody army. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lace of Gillishandra. Oh, come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lace of Gillishandra.
Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Well. How are we doing, everybody? Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, all over the world. How is it going? It's good to see you all. Welcome in. Green screen still not fixed. Need to wait for my new light to come. It's on the way, apparently. Should be here over the weekend. So you got this wonderful bisexual, hastily prepared background there for you to look at in the meantime. How is everybody doing? It's good to see you all. Who we got in the chat? We got Catgirl Steph. We got One Who Reads. We got Woodborg. We got Middle Earth Marxist. We got Discrotter. And we got Electric Kitty. How are you all doing? What's going on? Happy Thursday. I had a terrible night's sleep last night, and I have no idea why. But saying that, I actually remembered that, yeah, I yesterday at about this time of the stream had some caffeinated tea, so that might have fucked me up. Actually, it might have fucked me up because I'm on melatonin, and I think melatonin can like get fucked up if you have caffeine a bit too late. So and I also had some midnight hot dogs as well. Midnight hot dogs, probably not a good idea. Got no sleep last night, so I went to the gym instead. So maybe it was something in the air. Maybe I've got nothing to worry about. Maybe it's all fine. I'll probably have a really good night's sleep tonight. Probably. I'm just going to be right back. though, because I need to go and get my non-caffeinated Red Bush tea for this evening's stream. So just give me a hot minute, yeah? Hot minute for a hot cup of tea. Did you get it? The midnight hot dog is never a good sign, even when your body craves it. Okay, so I'll tell you what happened with the midnight hot dogs. Hello, Prince. Hello, Mendes Abal. How are you doing? Welcome in, everybody. I'll tell you what happened with the midnight hot dog shit, right? Okay, so basically, around I don't know when to accurately say this happened, but it was around New Year. Every now and then, I used to get, like, a random craving for hot dogs, and it would be when I was feeling, like, pretty down, pretty low. And because I've been feeling like that quite frequently from pretty much New Year to, well, a few weeks ago, to be honest, I actually started buying these really, really good hot dogs from Aldi called Bockwurst. And they're just like classic fucking Frankfurter hot dogs, and they just taste really good. They taste like hot dogs. They taste disgusting. They are disgusting. Whatever. But, so, unfortunately, I've gotten into the habit of just having them in the house. And that's really bad, because it means that I'll just have hot dogs like twice a week. And it's like, that's just not good for you, man. Like, you just can't be having hot dogs twice a week. It's just so insane. I've gone from having, like, hot dogs maybe once every 6 months and having, like, a shit ton and feeling disgusting and gross and then not having, you know, a good night's sleep, to having them, like, twice a week and using it as an excuse not to cook. So, not good. Not a great time. Midnight hot dogs also fuck up my sleep. He's just like me for real. He's just like me for real. Never a good sign. Never a good sign. This bisexual Palestine. That's right, Middle-earth Marxist. That's right. I blame the wage theft crisis. Yeah, me too. Me too. Everybody's constantly stealing my wages. Everybody in this chat is constantly stealing my wages. I can't believe that you would steal my wages. By the way, I woke up in my overdraft this morning. So, you know. Consider subbing off Twitch, chat. It's the last day. It's the last day of the well, it's not. It's the last normal stream of the month. There's every chance that I might stream tomorrow night. I might do some gaming. I've wanted to do some gaming streams for like quite some time. So I might start like streaming on Friday as well and just doing like a gaming stream. Might just do that because it's like, it's just nice. It's nice to play a bit of games every now and then. What was the... Yeah, last day, folks. If we're good, we may see the boy. You may see the boy if we hit that £50. That £50 bonus dono. But yeah, it's kind of annoying because the only reason that I did wake up in my overdraft is because of the accident that I had with the other softbox light yesterday. It's just kind of annoying because it's like I need to get that replaced. And I knew that, like, the electricity bill was going out. Gianna! Thank you so much for the 50 squid. What the fuck? What an absolute legend. Oh, my God. That's it. Straight up. Straight out the gate. There he is. There he is. Holy fucking shit, chat. We just hit not only the daily dono goal. You woke him up. You woke him up. There he is. You woke him up. Fucking hell. Thank you so much for donating the 50 quid. Thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream, Gianna. Oh my God. Absolutely knocked it out of the park. Listen. She's done a lot of heavy lifting today. Have I got your pronouns right, by the way, Gianna? I think you started using she, her, or you still they, them. Gianna, like has done some heavy lifting there. Some heavy lifting. Yeah, for the rest of the chatters, right? And considering I got that £50 extra cost this month, yeah, what we're going to do, we've unlocked, yeah? We've completely unlocked the bonus stream for next month, which is going to be the DJ stream. So I'm very excited to be bringing you that. It's going to be a musical month in April because I am going to be doing the, whatchamacallit, can't remember. I am going to be doing the acoustic gig stream next month, yeah? And we're also going to be doing the DJ stream next month. So that is absolutely fucking incredible. Hey, Sorka, how's it going? Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Good to see you. But I could do with just like an extra 50 squid. I could literally just do with an extra 50 squid. So I'm just going to bump up the dono goal. It doesn't matter. We've already unlocked the end of the month, the final dono goal of the month. Don't worry, it's still unlocked. That's not changing. I might think of a different extra dono goal after this, just as we go through the stream, because I think it would be nice if I can reward all of you by, you know, doing another stream after whatchamacallit. Who's Leela? Who's that? What's who's Leela? This Saturday, by the way, chat. This Saturday, we are having the bonus stream that we unlocked last month, which is the educational game stream. So I'm going to be playing a bunch of educational games. I'm going to be trying to get the famous one that everyone keeps telling me about, and I've forgotten the name of it, but it's like Lemmings but learning. Something Adventures of the Mystery of the Poopadoops, Scoopy Doops. I can't remember what the name of it is. Does anyone know what I'm on about? Does anyone know what it's called? We're going to be playing that on Saturday afternoon. So you've got that to look forward to as well. So don't forget that. We are having a bonus stream. We might be having a bonus stream tomorrow night just because. But also, we might be... I don't know what anyone's on about. It's like... It sounds like Tiddly Peeps. It's like Tiddly Peeps. I'm not sure Poopadoops are terms of service. We're going to be having a butt cam, scoliosis cam. What have other people been calling it? Metacam, Gyak cam. You know. So just, we're going to be having that. We're not going to be having that. We're not going to be having that at all. We're going to be having the Poopadoops. Zoom Beanies! Thank you, Ansel. That's right. Legend of the Zoom Beanies, innit? That's the one. Ansel knew what I was on about. Welcome in. Who's Leela is a horror light ARG kind of comedy game. It's really cool and really weird. That sounds pretty interesting. I have got a couple of games in the backlog that I've wanted to play for some time, so it might just be something random if I decide to stream tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that. I'm trying to edit this widget while I'm chatting shit, by the way. Tip goal. There it is. So let's change it. So we're at 601.67. 601.67. And then the goal amount, let's just up that to 650. Extended dono goal. And after 03/31 2024. There you go. The soundtrack is amazing. Hell yeah. If you're up for games in a spooky vein, I've heard good things about Book of Hours. It's a game about managing an occult library. That sounds pretty good. Excuse me. You have to do some real life stuff outside of the game, but all of it is accessible with a PC access. That sounds pretty good. Hey, Phoebe G, how's it going? Doom Beanies, why do I feel like they teach maths? They do teach maths, which is why I'm doing that kind of a game for the, whatchamacallit, House it in, on Saturday. The bonus stream. That's why, because I'm bad at maths. And I'm bad at talking. I don't even know why I'm a streamer, to be honest. Did you hear about the news about Palestine Action completely getting rid of Elbit? I didn't hear about them getting rid of Elbit completely. I don't think that's happened, has it? If that's happened, that's incredible. But I think that they got rid of a place in Tamworth, didn't they? An ARG is basically an internet Korok puzzle. That's funny. I'm bad at maths too. Listen, we're in the bad at maths gang. It's the bad at maths gang here at the Donkus Jonkus Monkus stream. This little lad right here, he's having a very good day because he got his new food through today. Not new food, he's had it before, but like his raw food through today. So that's very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. It means that he has got a load of extra energy, which is why he's so tuckered out now. And he's happy to be sitting alongside me, hanging out with his dad as he streams. Because I've given him the food that he likes and I've played with him and he's had a good time. Hey Bod, how's it going? Hi Mule, how's the year? The year's fine. I mean, it's just like I've got tinnitus. The thingy, by the way, the doctor had a look in my ear earlier today and was just like, it's fine. You've got no wax in there or anything. It's probably your eustachian tubes. Eustachian tubes. That guy from Courage the Cowardly Dog in my ear. I'm also bad at maths, but I find certain things in maths super interesting sometimes. I feel like if schools weren't intentionally designed to traumatize autistic kids, I might have actually been good at it. Well, I feel the same way about that for being ADHD stalker. Like, that's exactly why I hate maths. Because I was just always told, oh, you're so capable, but you just don't apply yourself. And it really fucked me off a lot of the time. And then also my dad did some fucking stupid shit, tried to get me to do like times tables all the time. Because he knew I was doing bad at maths, and he was like, hey, I'm just going to randomly come at you with you know, going to randomly come at you with arithmetic just while we're hanging out. And it's like, it just sucked so much. It sucked. It completely ruined me and my dad's relationship when I was younger. It was so bad. Hey, Remby Mum, welcome in. And TTK in the stream. How are you doing, TTK? Welcome in. If you ever want to know why my Discord is so good and well organized, it's all because of them. It's the Tom stream and Mules here. That's right, Huskadoo. That's right. That's right. That's right. We've hit the monthly dono goal. And also, I'm asking for an extra 50 quid because I had an unfortunate extra cost, which is basically why I don't have a green screen today or yesterday. One of my softbox lights just completely fucking broke. So please consider me and give me extra money. I would only need 10 £5 donos. 10 £5 donos, chat. I believe that we could do it. We just had a massive 50 quid dono from Gianna. Thank you so much again, Gianna. Thanks for subbing off Twitch, supporting the stream. And I've also got some more Chumbawamba to watch if we get 3 donos in a row for that unofficial hype train. So consider that, chat. It's the last regular stream, the last politics stream of the month. I might be going live tomorrow to play some Vibby games. And I'll also be live on Saturday for the educational game stream. We'll be playing Legend of the Zoombinis and maybe some other embarrassing bad learning games. But I'll be organising all that tomorrow and I'll let you know what's going on. So maybe in the Discord. Oh, it's Gianna with a $5. Oh my god, Gianna, what the fuck? Gianna, there's absolutely no need for you to be donating anymore. You've done so much heavy lifting for the chat. It's unreasonable to ask for any more money from you this month. Yeah? Chat, I'm gonna need you. Prevent Gianna from doing all the heavy lifting this month. I can't believe it. Doing so much heavy lifting for the rest of the stream. Come on, chat. Exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you for subbing off Twitch. Thank you for supporting the stream. Really appreciate you, Gianna. Thank you so much. There's the link. Sub off Twitch in the chat. I'll stick it in the YouTube chat as well for all the YouTubers out there. What else have I got to tell you about today? Not much. I just had like a really bad night's sleep, so I woke up super late. And that's it. The only maths I've ever got on with is even a bit with statistics. That's interesting. That's interesting. ADHD first boss fight is maths. It's true. Did I miss anything in the stream? Discrotto was saying earlier, heard that ExpressVPN gives money to Israel, so if you have it, I recommend uninstalling it. Every VPN is basically the same in quality and functionality anyway. Yeah, I think a load of VPNs give money to Israel, yeah. And Israel today have been talking about building settlements in southern Lebanon. So that's very normal, isn't it? Remember all those times? Remember all those times, chat? When, you know, people were naysaying me when I was talking about how Israel wants to expand into further countries in the Middle East, and everyone in chat was like, that's unsubstantiated. Oh, there's no evidence for that. And now they're talking about building settlements in southern Lebanon. Really cool, really normal. What a normal country they are, aren't they? They're definitely not bizarre, fascist, expansionists, colonizers. Yeah, completely fucked up. So fucked up. I would donate, but I got tricked by a scammer, so I don't have a way to donate. No, what the fuck? Discrot, I'm so sorry. That sucks so bad. But listen, you already donated so much this month, so I can't literally, like, you know, I literally can't expect you to donate anymore. So thank you so much for subbing off Twitch earlier this month. I hope you get your dough back. I hope that that's something that you're able to do. Fuck scammers. I think like it's really shit that like capitalism has basically just become loads of scams recently. That's just all it is. It's just scam after scam after scam after scam. Like there's loads of scams on Twitter. There's loads of scams on even on GoFundMe, like GoFundMe scams. You know, for like people saying that they're like there's people pretending to be in Palestine. It's really shit. It's true, Soccer has been terrorizing our D&D group with ARS Magicka rules. Hyperfixated on a TTRPG called Ars Magicka because it's so light maths in it. Gotcha. Yeah, you just gotta be really, really careful about who you donate to, innit? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's true. Rob, what the fuck? Rob, thank you so much for the stream. You cheeky chappy, aren't you? Just been robbed, haven't we, chat? Thank you so much for the raid, Rob. How are you doing? Straight into the stream. Thank you for the follow. Look at this. Getting followers already. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Please, if you're in my chat and you're not already, please go follow Rob Rousseau. He's an incredible lad, incredible comrade. And we got some of his excellent chats. Cat Girl Step with the $5. Thank you for subbing off Twitch. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you. Thank you for the follow as well. We got some excellent chatters from Rob's stream here in my chat as well. We got Kijiji Genie. Hello, Ground Level News. How's it going? Risk Inverse coming through. Comrade Social Distancing. What's good? How are you doing? How was Rob's stream? How are you enjoying it? If you don't know me, if you're coming in from Rob's stream and you've just met me, my name's djmuel. I'm a housing activist. I'm a leftist political streamer. This is my cat, Tom. He's my sweet son. He's my sweet boy. The reason that we have him on the stream is because my sweet chatters have donated over £50 today. Can you imagine that? We did not get those prints. No, that's right. Yeah, Gianno, if you... well, hang on. We've got them in the Discord, I think. I'm here like not utilizing all the tools that we've got. Excuse me. Gianna, we missed your Discords, friend. Your Discords. Fucking hell. We missed your pronouns, friend. We were trying to get your pronouns right. Let us know. If you want, you don't have to. If you don't want, it's up to you. We could just refer to you by your name. It's absolutely fine. Sweetest, most beautiful boy. Tom is dreamy. He really is. Yeah. I was lurking in Rob's stream on mobile while hanging here on browser. Suddenly I got stereo mule. Listen, it's how it goes. It's how it goes. He, her, them, they. Thank you very much, Gianna. There we go. Thank you very much. Gianna's been doing a lot of heavy lifting dono-wise in the stream. Catgirl Steph is always doing heavy lifting as well. Thank you, Catgirl Steph. Thank you for the dono. We've not got long. We've not got far to go, yeah? To hit the extended dono goal. And I'll come up with an incentive in a bit. But what we're going to be doing today, well, we're going to be looking at a couple bits of news. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Then we're going to be watching a couple of video essays. One from Victory the Creator about their time in a Spanish union, which is really exciting. Rembimon with the $5. Let's fucking go, Rembimon. Thank you so much for subbing up Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Let's fucking go. Look at that, chat. It's popping off. You know what that means, don't you? You know what that means, don't you? It's time for the unofficial hype train. I've got it all prepped. I've got it all ready. I've got it all prepped. I've got it all ready. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely fucking incredible, yeah? It's time for us to listen to some incredible tunes, some incredible anarchist tunes together. VOD watchers, I gotta lose you. I'll see you in a bit. Well, I'll see you in a second. It'll be literally a second in your time, but I'll see you in a bit. Okay, right. You're back in. You're back in, VOD watchers. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for subbing off Twitch and supporting the stream. We're at £616.67. That means that we need like 35 quid. Yeah, 35 quid. So 7 people. Need 7 more people tonight to donate a $5 each. And that will be very John Poggers indeed, won't it? It will be John Poggers. Who's John Poggers? I don't know. Anyway. I'm very, very sorry, Mikhail. I've just translated your name, and I've figured out what it is. Welcome to the stream, Mikhail. I can't read Cyrillic. We had a conversation about this yesterday, actually, but we weren't as suspicious of you because you weren't in chat speaking in Cyrillic with Cyrillic in a different language. You just had a name in Cyrillic, which is a bit different, isn't it? So welcome to the stream. How you doing? Me, I'm John Poggers. It's true. I'm John Poggers. I managed to quit smoking just so my HRT would be more effective. Hell yeah, let's go. Let's go, Discrot. Let's fucking go. Yeah, 7 more £5 donos. Listen, doesn't have to be now. It could be later. You know, I'm in no rush. We've got a whole stream to get through, chat. An entire stream to get through. Imagine that, yeah? Imagine that. So, what else have we got? What else have we got to talk about before we get into the stream? I watched the Star Trek. Let's talk about Star Trek now and get it out of the way, yeah? Let's talk about Star Trek now, get it out of the way, so we don't have a Star Trek stunlock like we did last night where we talk about Star Trek The Next Generation for 30 minutes straight, yeah? And completely disenfranchise the entirety of my viewer base who don't watch Star Trek. Yeah, let's get this out of the way, get it out of the way, then it's done. What did I watch? I watched the episode, the one episode that I could say was like super odd was the one where Scotty comes back. We're doing the full 45 minutes this time. That's right. But they bring Scotty back, right? Scotty comes back from, he's been in some kind of, he's trapped in a transport beam, isn't he? In this one episode. And they find this transport. It's sending out a distress call. It's been trapped for 75 years, and he thinks that James Tiberius Kirk has actually come to rescue him, but actually it's just Jean-Luc Picard on the Enterprise 1701D, not the James Tiberius Kirk on the original Enterprise. Yeah, trapped in a transport cycle loop like a Windows launcher. Yeah, literally. Yeah. And it's kind of odd, isn't it? Because it's like, I don't know much about that actor in it. I can't remember his name, but like the guy who plays Scotty, he is like the biggest Star Trek fan of all time because it made him famous, innit? Do you know what I mean? It's like he just loves Star Trek. It's not like William Shatner will go to, that's it, James Doohan. Yeah, that's the guy. Like William Shatner will like go to some signings or whatever, but he's a knobhead. No, and he thinks Shatner's a wanker as well, doesn't he? Yeah, absolutely. When TNG is amazing, when TNG is good, it's amazing. It also ignores so many duds. I mean, I don't know. There are some dud episodes, aren't there? Right? There are some dud episodes, but it's just whatever. I think most of them are pretty good. It's just very odd. It is just very, very, very odd. Because it's like, you could tell that he just really loves Star Trek, and he must have been like, when they brought it back, they were like, yes, please, let's get Scotty on. I don't know if they were thinking, let's get Scotty on. I think that James Doohan was like, please have an episode where Scotty comes back. I don't care if it's shit. Just, you know, just get me back on the show. That's kind of what it felt like. That's kind of what the episode felt like, because it's a bit of a nothing episode, isn't it? It's like, oh, he comes back to the Enterprise, but it's the new Enterprise. It's all new and fangled, and he feels like old, and he's not part of it, and he needs to like move on with his life or whatever, you know? And that's really just the episode. Like, it's got like a mini arc where he realizes that he's being like a little bit rambunctious. Like, he tries to get some scotch, and it's all synthol, and he's like, what's this? And gets really upset that it's not going to get him pissed, but then he finds Jean-Luc Picard's, what is it, Elberum whiskey or something, and it's green, and he's getting pissed on the old deck in the, on the old bridge in the holodeck. Hey, this Dungeons Sub Boss, how's it going? Welcome in. Do you think that in Star Trek, at least regions of the galaxy where capitalism still exists, like Ferengi space, pop-up ads and door-to-door salesmen have fused into nightmarish pop-up transporter salesmen, like you're trying to do laundry and the sham wow guy appears in the kitchen? That's definitely a thing that happens in Ferengi planets. 1000%, yeah. No, I know. This is the thing. This is what I don't like about it, Middle-earth, yeah? This is what I don't like about it. It's the classic Rip Van Winkle plot. Like, the guy from a previous starship has been asleep for years and years and years, and everything's new, and it's scary to him, and he realizes he's got to move on, and he's an old guy. But I think that overshadows the Dyson Sphere plot. I think that would have just been a really good episode on its own without Scotty getting involved. I didn't want any of that. Like, what I was really interested in was, like, seeing the civilization that might exist within the Dyson Sphere. If anyone doesn't know what the Dyson Sphere is, it's basically this concept from, I don't know, Picard says it's from 20th century, but I don't know what he's referring to. I don't know who came up with the idea, but basically it's like a massive, like a gargantuan big metal fucking thing around a load of planets and a sun, and it acts as like, it keeps all the energy. So a load of energy escapes through space from the sun, right? So in the dead of space, there's a load of like lost energy and heat. And what a Dyson Sphere does is it prevents that energy from shooting off into space to do nothing, and it captures it all within the Dyson Sphere. And it means that you can have like planets within the Dyson Sphere, and also on the Dyson Sphere itself, you can have, you know, buildings, civilization stuff, you know, all that kind of stuff. Freeman Dyson was the guy's name. He was a British theoretical physicist. There you go. But I wanted to like see, like, you know, what was the civilization like in the Dyson Sphere? You know, speak to some of the people there. Solar system warming? Yeah, I think so. Something like that. I'm not sure. But it's just overshadowed by like Scotty being there, and it's just like, it's very sad. He definitely loves Star Trek a lot more than any of the other people. Like Leonard Nimoy is in an episode, innit? Like the original Spock, and that's great. That's great, innit? Do you know what I mean? That's fucking brilliant. And that episode is not just about Spock, innit? It's about like they're trying to unify the Vulcans and the Romulans and all that kind of stuff, and that's important. Yeah. But the episode where Scotty comes back is just like nothing really happens other than Scotty has a little arc, and it's like, okay, cool. Who says that escaped energy does nothing? It might be important in some relatively nearby galaxy. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Who says Dr. Maggot, I snuck in with Rob and was hiding. Did I scare you? Yes, you did. Well done. Well, you done. Scared me so much I pooed. There you go. That was me pooing from you scaring me. Pooed my pants. How are you doing, Dr. Maggot? It's good to see you. So yeah, that was a little disappointing. I preferred actually the episode where Counselor Troy dies. Sorry for spoilers of this nearly 40-year-old show, but like I actually much preferred the episode where Deanna Troy dies. She dies, doesn't she? She dies. I thought that was so incredibly drastic. Basically what happens in this episode is like she gets, there's an old woman that comes on board with an ambassador, and she's really like, she's like a violent, evil person. She's really nasty. And she keeps saying to like Counselor Troy, "You're gonna have sex with my son," blah. Or not my son, but like the guy that she's coming with. And he's like, "She's my mother. I'm really sorry about it." Blah. And then that woman dies, and he's like, "Oh, she's 93. I don't know why she came with me. Sorry." And then he convinces Troy to do this meditation with her. At which point, we realize something weird is going on, because he does this thing where he touches this stone to a stone that she's holding, and she goes like, "Oh!" And there's like a musical sting. And it turns out that he is using her. It's quite Dune, actually. That's very true. It's quite a Dune episode. That's a good point, Gianna. Yeah, like the guy, the ambassador, is basically, he finds women, specifically women. He's a bit of a predator, against women with this particular technique. He finds women, and especially empaths, which is why he chooses Counselor Troy, to basically like imprint all of his negative emotions onto, so he could be a very good diplomat, right? And he keeps saying things like, oh, when they find out what's going on, he keeps saying things like, 1,000 people are dying today. Don't you realize how important this is? Deanna Troy is just one woman. It doesn't matter. And it's like, no, it kind of does matter, really, because like just because you can't handle your own emotions and you have like a massive ego, you think you're a really cool and good ambassador. It doesn't mean you get to just like kill random women. Like turn them into horrible people. She basically becomes like a sexual predator and just like a cantankerous, horrible person. It's a really good episode. It's a really good episode. Like obviously it's all his horrible desires, and like so he's imprinting all of his lust and all of his nasty emotions onto her, so she's horrible to everyone, and she tries to have sex with loads of people, and it's really bad. And she like scratches Riker. it's pretty funny actually when that happens. Yeah, trying to invoke the needs of the many. It's that like reclaimed, recuperated leftist language. Yeah, they did some awful shit to Marina Sirtis on The Next Generation. Yeah, very, very sad. Spoiling a plot line older than approximately half of the chat. I know, I can't believe it. You get to choose a fascinating new species living in a totally different solar system, or Scotty getting shit-faced on the Enterprise. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, I didn't want that. I didn't want that second one. I'm like, yeah, I can watch James Doohan in like, all the crappy films he was in after The Next Generation. Like, he was in some really, really bad movies. I'm trying to remember the name of one. But he was in this really crap one where he basically just sits down for the whole movie. And he's got like an eye patch on. I can't remember what the name of it is. He just sits down for the whole movie. And then in the end, he just gets shot and died. And he doesn't do anything. And he's drunk the whole time. It's very sad. actually, because he was obviously struggling at the end of his career, and poor bastard, you know, very, very sad, actually. It's a sad story of fame and Hollywood. Well, not really Hollywood, but, you know, TV fame and all that kind of stuff. HR pulled similar shit. What's HR, sorry? Oh, HR pulled similar shit. The actual human resources pulled similar shit to support its use of transphobic tropes to smear me out on my last regular job. Yeah, that fucking sucks, one who reads. Fucking hell. So anyway, I watched that one. And then I think, what was the other one I watched? Did I watch Time's Arrow, or was there other stuff going on? The Barkley one where he's scared of he's scared of transporting, isn't he? I thought that was a really good episode, because I always thought that the first time I watched Star Trek or understood about the idea of like being beamed up and shit, yeah. I thought like that's really scary, actually. The idea of all your matter phasing out of existence and you're trapped in this in-between world for a little bit, and there are some accidents and stuff like that, yeah. Barkley is a fun character. He's a fun character because I can relate to him, because he's just an anxious lad, isn't he? He's just an anxious lad. He's just like me. For real. Yes, that's right. And so like, yeah, he's scared of that stuff in the way that I used to be scared of flying. Obviously, it's like very, very safe. It's been super safe for years. There's not been any accidents for years. And even when there were accidents, it was like, you know, very rare. You know, he's scared of transporting. And then they've got like the weird fleshlight things in the... I thought they were a really cool little puppet, like a really weird little gross... Kind of looks like a penis with like the urethra just opening a little bit. It was kind of gross, so I really liked that. And I thought that they were gonna be like a new alien and a new weird thing that they explore, kind of like in H.P. Lovecraft adaptation, the Stuart Gordon film, From Beyond, where like they're in a different dimension and there are weird things flying around all the time in that dimension. We just can't see them all the time. I thought they were gonna go for that kind of a story. And that would have been really, really good and scary. But instead, it was just, for some reason, if you get trapped in transport space, you become a little penis monster. I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but I thought that was a pretty good one. That's it. I think that's it. I think that's me caught up with Star Trek episodes. I think those are the ones that I watched last night while I was struggling to sleep from the hot dog-induced insomnia. Honestly, I'd be scared of transporters too. I think I would be ground control on Earth in the Star Trek universe. Yeah, for real. I wouldn't be getting out there in the starships. I think about that like sort of, you know, back in the day, everyone was a pirate at like a certain point in time, and I was like, I probably would be a pirate because I am an anarchist, and you know, it would be really cool to like get out and do pirate stuff and attack all like the colonial imperialist vessels, and you know, fuck with Nelson and all that kind of stuff, and what's his face, little fella, Napoleon, you know. I blame Gene Roddenberry for the penis monsters. Yeah, well, I would too, but he was dead by the time they wrote this episode. Or maybe he already wrote it, I don't know. I don't know how much he wrote before he died and then they like made the other stuff. But he was dead at the time of this episode's airing, so I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, no, the pirates, the pirate thing, I always think about that because it's like, yeah, well, you know, could you imagine like just being at sea and then drowning? That would be really shit. That would be so shit. I'm gonna go watch a Godzilla movie. Super excited about. Have a good stream. Is it the new Godzilla vs. Kong movie? Anyway, you don't have to answer. You go and you're leaving. Have a great time. Have a great time. I hope you enjoy the movie. See you later. Anyway, so that's me caught up. That's done. That's all done now. I'm done talking about Star Trek. Star Trek's very good. I'm enjoying it. I'm very much enjoying watching it. I'm now a Star Trek guy. Sorry about that, but also not sorry. It's time to get into some news. And we've got like just a very short news segment today. Very, very short news segment today. We are going to be having a quick look Let me just see if I can figure this out. I'm going to just change some content warning stuff because there's not this one bit in it today. Okay. There we go. There we go. Just wait till you start Deep Space Nine if you haven't already. No, I'm really excited to start Deep Space Nine. I am. Okay, right. Listen, chat. We're jumping into the politics category on Twitch. Get those hazmats on. It's time to get terrible takes coming in every hour or so. Just be prepared for that. Here we go. It's time for the news. Content warning for queerphobia and genocide. We're going to be having a little look at some of these articles that we've got here. Let's just fly through this pink news one. Oh, Jesus Christ. Give me a sec while I sort out these fucking... reject all. Thank you very much. Hey, Val, how's it going? Welcome in. Okay, we're back. Let's fly through this pink news article. This is U.S. embassies to be banned from flying pride flags. This kind of sucks. A U.S. government funding package includes a provision that bans the country's embassies from flying pride flags on their buildings. Signed into law by President Joe Biden in the early hours of Saturday morning, 23rd of March. This is almost a week ago now. To avert a government shutdown, the $1.2 trillion package will fund the government until September, included a number of Republican-backed provisions. The Biden administration has already said it will work to repeal the ban. Will it now? Will it, Joe Biden? Will it be working to repeal the ban? He's such an ally, isn't he, chat? He's such an ally. Joe Biden, but, listen, we're going to have to push him. You're going to have to vote for him. Because if you think it's bad now, oh boy, if you're queer, it'll be game over if Donald Trump gets in. So you got to vote for Joe Biden, even though he makes concessions against Republicans and does things that are anti-queer anyway. So that's very good, isn't it? Very normal. Good stuff. This is why if you don't vote for him, you hate trans people. Right, exactly. We're being sarcastic, by the way, just in case anyone's struggling with that. Yeah, we allowed the ratchet to advance, and we'll definitely work to turn it back again. Yeah. So, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson, a conservative Christian whose anti-LGBTQ views are well documented, touted the policy as a Republican win in a bid to encourage his colleagues to vote for the package. The law states funding cannot be used to fly or display a flag over a facility of the United States Department of State other than the American flag or other government-related flags. Those which support prisoners of war, soldiers missing in action, hostages, and wrongfully imprisoned U.S. citizens are exempt from the ban. So it's just queer people. In a statement released following Biden's signing of the package, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the president believes it was inappropriate to abuse the process that was essential to keep the government open by including this policy targeting LGBTQIA plus Americans, and he is committed to fighting for LGBTQI plus equality at home and abroad. Yeah, he is, isn't he? He's committed to doing that, isn't he? He's definitely signed loads of executive orders to protect queer people, hasn't he? He's used all his presidential powers to protect queer people, hasn't he? Yeah, he's not a ghoul. He's not a horrible piece of shit that no one should trust and no one should vote for. Honestly, genuinely speaking, I cannot stand these liberal cunts who are desperately trying to make out that if you don't vote for Biden, you're not a leftist. Like, he's not a leftist. He's a conservative. He is a conservative. Like, there is no bones about it anymore. He is a conservative. If you vote for Biden, you're a conservative. That's simply the end of it. Like, you're not a leftist, for voting for Biden. That's just the end of it. It's just the end of it. So yeah, really, really sucks. Pride in who you are? No, only pride in where you were pushed out is allowed. Yeah. Mental. While the president had been unsuccessful in blocking the flag provision, I'm sure he tried very hard, the administration had been successful in defeating more than 50 other policy riders attacking the LGBTQI plus community that congressional Republicans attempted to insert into the legislation. Yeah, like what? Yeah, he's conservative by democratic standards. What are they talking about? I know, it's just so incredibly frustrating. Yeah, The left didn't leave you. You just went full fascist. Yeah. The law does not cover the inside of buildings or elsewhere on embassy grounds. The ban will have no impact on the ability of members of the LGBTQA plus community to serve openly or on embassies or to celebrate Pride, the White House insisted. The move comes a few weeks after voters in Huntington Beach, California, approved a ballot measure that bans non-governmental flags being flown from government buildings. So yeah, it's all just bullshit. It's all just bullshit, dog shit, fuck it all. Fuck Joe Biden, he's a piece of shit. So let's continue with some breaking news. This is from Mondo Weiss today. I don't really have an article to read here, but these are just some stills from Mondo Weiss over on Blue Sky. Go and follow Mondo Weiss on Blue Sky. And while you're at it, follow me, your boy, Donkus Jonkus, because I am also on there. But the ICJ has mandated additional measures against Israel in view of the worsening conditions of life faced by Palestinians in Gaza, and in particular the spread of famine and starvation. This next slide says, Israel must ensure immediate, unhindered humanitarian aid, including food, water, electricity, fuel, shelter, clothing, hygiene, and medical care with UN cooperation. This also includes opening land crossing points into Gaza for as long as necessary. Israel must not carry out any military actions that infringe on Palestinians' rights under the Genocide Convention and prevent the delivery of urgently needed humanitarian assistance. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who are questioning these extra measures, and I think that that's good and correct to do so. I think people who are pushing back on that are not really understanding that we're not really saying that the ICJ is terrible and it's a place full of horrible people who don't like Palestinians or anything like that. We're just saying that it's a toothless organization, and it's just a front for the US and the UK, the imperial core countries, to try and claim that they value humanitarian justice and human rights all over the world. So it's just not. It's just very unlikely that anything is going to happen. It's like the Security Council, the binding Security Council agreement that said there should be a ceasefire in Gaza on Tuesday this week, and Israel responded by just bombing again, bombing Rafah, bombing places where people have been, sheltering. Palestinians have been sheltering. So these organizations being proved to be toothless. And it's gonna frustrate people, and it's gonna radicalize people. So there is good that is gonna come of this. In the long run, chat, it's very difficult. It's very sad. It's very upsetting. It's literally a crime against humanity. But we must just keep fighting. We must just keep fighting for our siblings in Palestine. That's the only solution. That's the only solution. I'm gonna be having a look at some other stuff. Some good news regarding that in a hot second as well. Ebusel, welcome to the stream. No wonder they tried to slander UNRWA. Yeah, absolutely. That's why they tried to do it. Look, Mule, Joey isn't perfect, okay? I know he says stuff like the illegals in referencing immigrants and fully supports Israel's genocide, but have you forgotten that there was a dang Cheeto in the White House? You're right, I had forgotten that there was a Cheeto in the White House. I can't believe it. That's the most important thing, isn't it? That's the most important thing. Anyway. It's such bullshit, isn't it? It's such bullshit. 13,000 workers for UNRWA networks, and by claiming they're all Hamas. Boom, famine, yeah. Just say that they're Hamas, and then all of a sudden, the imperial core countries do exactly what you want. It's fucking bullshit. I do have some good news regarding Palestine. I'm just trying to find it. Just give me a hot second. I have it on Twitter over here in my bookmarks because Gianna was talking about this. So Palestine Action will probably report on this in a bit more detail on Red Planet on Sunday. But Palestine Action this weekend have had a number of wins. 3 people who shut down Elbit in Leicester have had the charges against them dropped. Incredible news. Incredible fucking news. Very, very good. Very, very based. Let me just make Tom's cam a little bigger. He's doing cute stuff. There you go. Some other incredible news. Incredible news today. Breaking. Palestine action permanently shut down Elbit in Tamworth. After sustained direct action, the Israeli weapons maker was forced to sell due to increased security costs, which cut their profits by 75%. Let's fucking go. The new owners wrote to Palestine Action to confirm the factory is no longer associated with Elbit and have discontinued all arms manufacturing contacts. Permanently shut down Elbit in Tamworth. Direct action works. Palestine Action. All power to him. Let's fucking go. The resistance is not futile, contrary to what the Borg would say. God, I'm an embarrassing Star Wars man. Star Trek man. Whatever. That's the sound effect I wanted. It was an unfunny joke. Anyway, whatever. We're moving on. Let this be the first of many. Let this be the first of many. So that's very, very exciting. Good news. Good stuff. I'm gonna just go through this little article here. Fucking Tolkien nerds. Yeah, am I right? Am I right? Either way, a starman. It's true. I'm a starman waiting in the sky. I'd love to come and meet you, but I think I'll blow your mind. So, what can I do to help the labor movement? So this is an article from Hamilton Nolan. I don't know who this is. I think it's like a Substack thing. What can I do to help the labor movement? We're gonna run through this. I don't know how many words it is. It's quite long, so maybe I won't. Maybe we won't read all of this. But let's just have a look. For many years in countless repetitive screeds, I've been telling people to support the labor movement. One thing that's been driven home to me as I've gone on book tour and fielded a lot of questions from readers is that there are many people who would like to support the labor movement but don't have a firm idea of how to support the labor movement. It's such a vague damn concept. I tell you what, chat, I didn't think this was going to be such a long read, so we're not going to read this today. I'm going to drop it in the chat for you in the YouTube and the Twitch chat. Have a read through it in your own time if you get chance. Probably have a bit of a longer sort of read of this in my own time and come up with some points and talk about them on Red Planet this week. Probably. That's probably what I'm going to do. And there you go, chat. We've done it. We made it through the news. Very, very short news segment today. Very, very short news segment today. And that is mainly because I was worried that we were going to have a similar situation to yesterday where I just read through loads of articles and it was very, very boring for like the first fucking hour of the stream. But also it's because I need to take my pants off. That's right. I need to take my pants off. I've not got a sound effect. It's not because I've shat myself. I've not got a sound effect for that. I'm just feeling very uncomfortable. So I'll be back in a second. Use this opportunity to go take your meds, have a wee, get a little drink, a little snack. And don't forget to sub off Twitch. Don't forget to sub off Twitch while I'm gone. For the boy. Okay. Got me comfies on. Look at this little cheekster. Look at this little cheeky fella. What is he doing? Who does he think he is? He loves you so much, he was clearly waiting for you to come back the whole time. Oh. You know what? I had a feeling that he did that. I did have a feeling that he did that. I'm gonna check it on the on the recording of the stream. I'm going to check it on the VOD after the stream. Anyway, we do have some more stuff about unions that we're going to be checking out, because I have got a video essay for you from one of our favorite video essayists, Victory, the creator. That's right. Here he is, coming on your screen. We're going to be checking this out. This video is called What I Learned Working in a Spanish Union, which is very exciting. Please like, comment, subscribe, share Victory's work. They're an incredible creator. I've showcased them on the stream many times. Let's have a little look at this video and see exactly what he's got to say about working in a Spanish union.
Like a dog in our work. Like a dog. Day and night. Workplace discrimination is nothing new, and for marginalized people, the blow of it has always been amplified. However, if your intersectional identity includes any form of blackness, that motherfucker out of control. See twice as good for half as much quotes passed down through the generations. Historically, black people have consistently had to fight for our rights, and the organizations of unions have been a major part of black labor history, not only in the US, but globally. So, what lessons can we as people looking to change the world for the better learn from unions around the world? No, stay. It'll be worth it. I promise.
Hell yeah, let's go!
Oh, you saw Spanish Union in the title and you thought this video wasn't gonna be black as shit. Try again. Today, we'll be going over my experience working in a Spanish union, learning more about global black labor history, because we global, amen, and listening to some union members' lived experiences. There'll definitely be a couple of special guests to help us do this, so stay tuned for the goodness.
Pause in.
Black organized labor traces its origins to at least 1850 with the formation of the American League of Colored Laborers. The short-lived organization's goals included the development and benefit of black skilled laborers and the creation of financial institutions to promote black wealth and business. In the midst of the Civil War, millions of formerly enslaved Africans migrated from southern plantations to the northern states in a general strike as described by W.E.B. Du Bois. A controversial concept even today, it is an important description of the role in which enslaved Africans fought for their emancipation by denying their labor and even using it to assist the Union Army.
During the Reconstruction era, when most white unions debated and ultimately chose to restrict membership to white laborers only, black workers created their own unions. Most notably, the Colored National Labor Union, which opens its rank to all workers regardless of color or gender, fought for equal access to trades for all laborers and secured improvements for many black workers at a time when just being a union member was grounds for a visit from the KKK. As white unions experimented with cooperatives, black workers created their own successful cooperative, the Chesapeake Marine Railway and Dry Dock Company, organized by Frederick Douglass and Isaac Myers. As white women such as Kate Mullaney formed unions in the North, black washerwomen and domestic workers in the South formed their own unions. They successfully raised their wages and gave themselves way more autonomy over their work through labor actions such as the 1881 Atlanta washerwoman strike. As the 19th century turned into the 20th, black workers continued to struggle for their wages as millions immigrated to the North for industrial jobs. While some unions accepted them within their ranks as inferiors, others, such as those affiliated with the American Federation of Labor, outright barred them from their organization.
Right.
One union that vehemently rejected this sentiment was the IWW, which was organized explicitly under the philosophy of solidarity, anti-racism, and anti-capitalism.
Which is why the IWW is one of the most base unions that's still around today. Go and check out your local chapter of the IWW. I guarantee there's going to be one in your area.
Parsons and Ben Fletcher, two of its most notable non-white members, successfully organized and led diverse groups of workers in the pursuit of higher wages and the abolition of capitalism. In the mid-1920s, A. Philip Randolph,
hey Mr. Dank, what's up?
Of sleeping car porters recognized by the AFL. After succeeding in the late 1930s, labor leader Randolph became an important figure within the civil rights movement. Civil rights and organized labor have always been inseparable for black workers, a fact recognized by MLK and other progressive labor leaders such as Walter Reuther. Black workers have been
Tommy Twos is right there. He's up there.
Represented in unions and
reap right there.
The benefits of union membership. They've even organized revolutionary caucuses within these unions, such as DRUM or Drum. In the present day, Chris Smalls has led a successful organizing drive against Amazon. While Smalls' commitment to Amazon labor union is questionable, he is proof that black leaders continue to drive the labor movement.
Whoa. Christian Small's commitment to Amazon labor union is questionable. How come? Why? Does anyone know what this is about? We're about to get shafted big time in Florida, and I'm very pissed off. What's going on, Mr. Dank?
Union is questionable. He is proved.
Look, so soft. Do you know what, TTK? I know that you were particularly like saying that it's a little worrisome getting him on a raw food diet. But I have gotten him on a raw food diet, and ever since he's been on a raw food diet, along with consistent grooming, like, you know, combing him every week, he has got the softest fur of all time. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I am now one of those kooks who says, yeah, you gotta give your cat raw food. It's incredible, like the difference. He's so much more happy and like got loads of energy and stuff. And I've not been sick yet. Touch wood, fingers crossed. State Supreme Court is signaling they're going to disallow the abortion access referendum that is supposed to be on the ballot in November. Yeah, I mean this fucking sucks. All it's going to result in is the collective pregnant people who can get pregnant in Florida, just essentially getting mifepristone on their own. They're just going to get hold of abortion drugs on their own. And hopefully what it'll lead to is some kind of healthcare liberation for people who can get pregnant, right? Birth care, abortion care, liberation. So it kind of sucks. Referendum tend to break in favor of abortion access. Yeah, of course that's why they're doing it. Of course that's why they're trying to make it illegal. You know, the thing is that like it is shit, and it would be good if the state would just be like, yeah, you know, everyone can have access to abortion, it's all fine. But unfortunately, it's just not like that. I've seen a lot of people go all in on raw feeding and gotten sick or gotten their cat sick with an unbalanced diet. Yeah, I mean, the main thing that I wanted to do with Tom was not try and do the raw food myself. I wasn't going to just like cook the raw food myself. Well, you don't cook it, you just make it, right? You just put it in a fucking blender or whatever. I wasn't going to do that. I got a company that does it. I got a subscription with Bella and Duke. So yeah, essentially it's been really good. He's been on it for like a month, and he's been absolutely fine, and he's very healthy and he seems very happy. Yeah, you just got to be careful, like not to let him lick you after he's finished eating, you know. Abortion is actually possible and leaders hate it, much like healthcare and queer rights and all that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, buddy. He just did a little meow and I don't know why. What'd you want? Aww. He's a sleepy man. A very, very sleepy little man. Okay.
If the black leaders continue to drive the labor movement.
The recreational weed ballot measure might still make it, which is nice, but I'm less concerned about that. Yeah, well, they'll let you like smoke a plant that sends you into a stupor and keeps you happy and like gives you some kind of a nice relaxing time after you've worked your balls off all day, you know, as a slave to capitalism, right? They'll let you do that, but reproductive rights, people like good things, and it's entirely the construction of modern leadership that prevents those things from happening. Government just kind of sucks. Yeah.
Well, I'm Nigerian and black, and I don't know if you know anything about those two identity groups. We wouldn't really be doing this shit like this.
You can't be happy, but you could smonk about it. That's right.
Economically disadvantaged for the vast majority of my life. In fact, I still am socioeconomically disadvantaged. I'm not disclosing salaries because, quite frankly, that's not all of my business to share. But just know that I am not even lower middle class. I was able to go to Spain because of numerous scholarships that I received and me working 2 to 3 jobs at a time, as I have done since I began university. I'm a junior now. Thanks for asking, by the way. I am no stranger to needing to not only advocate for my own wages, but for others as well. I know that the president that I said can and more than likely will be utilized when hiring other people that look like me. My experience in the US calls to mind the most marked racialized bigotry that I personally witnessed in Spain. The very xenophobic, racist, and classist sorts of stigma towards Moroccan individuals that I found most readily in older Spanish populations that lived under the dissolution of Franco's dictatorship, but also in some younger people that uphold this antiquated idea of Spanish values. They're the same bigoted, hyper-right values backed by the Catholic Church that caused many Spanish citizens to continue to uplift the former dictator's rule.
Yep.
Even though under it thousands were ruthlessly unalived, essayed, and heavily traumatized. Why does it sound familiar? And why is the Catholic Church always involved?
They're always involved.
You know who else was a major colonizing nation? Britain. Let's talk about black labor history in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I am not from the UK, even though I am a first-generation immigrant of a country that they did colonize. You know what? We're gonna leave it at that. There are numerous directions that I could take this part of the video in. However, I think it's appropriate that we start with the British Union that will be delved into in further detail later on in the video by one of its own members, the United Tech and Allied Workers Union. The union is an offshoot of an even bigger union based in the UK called the Communication Workers Union.
Oh, no way.
It was formed by the merging of the British National Communications Union and the Union of Communications Workers back in 1995. Weren't the names just so creative, y'all?
So creative.
They're supposed to be easy to understand to facilitate easier organizing. I just like extra. The two older organizations were preceded by numerous other organizations that span all the way back to local linesman associations in the 1870s. The present Communication Workers Union is the 7th largest union in Britain and is affiliated with the Trades Union Congress and Global Trade Secretariat Union Network International. Now, the Trades Union Congress is a federation of trade unions that represent most workers in England and Wales. As of recently, that looks like 48 affiliated unions representing 5.5 million people. Million people, with 50.5% of that population being of color and 22.8% of it being black. Imagine all those workers with access to legal representation and counsel, while also having a political lobbying machine to argue for its working class interests to ensure employment security, fight back against discrimination, and offer holiday benefits. Because one thing about the average Brit is they're gonna go on holiday. These statements are in declaring that their system is perfect.
Victory knows.
The UK is some form of utopia. It's actually theorized that the only reason that Brits have universal health care is the historical British ruling class was trying to make what would be a socialist democracy sound a little bit less appealing. It didn't work. However, it's no wonder why daily life for working class citizens is simply better in most of Europe than it is in America. I said what I said. With the existence of such robust workers' rights campaigns, what was to be expected? Exactly. Meanwhile, American politicians still arguing over whether or not a 4-day work week is possible or moral. Moral.
Y'all remember yesterday in the stream when I couldn't pronounce moral? Moral? It's happening again. Chat, it's happening all over again. Moral. I couldn't pronounce moral yesterday. Losing my mind.
Countries like Spain are actually paying their smaller companies to try a 4-day work week, just for framing purposes. Next up, we have the interviews of individuals from unions in all of the countries that we just finished discussing. The US, UK,
Moral.
and Spain. Let's get into it.
What's the name of your union? It's fucking Greater Manchester Tenants Union, chat. That's right. Is it centralized or decentralized? I think we have a central committee. Yeah, I'm on the central committee. But it is also decentralized as well because we have loads of branches. Anyway.
Presenting is a strong word, I said. But yeah, I'm part of UTOR, which is the United Tech and Allied Workers Union, which is part of Communication Workers Union.
So, hey, I'm Jackie Alcine. I'm a software engineer. I've worked at a few places, but most nominally it was Code for America, specifically on the tax, the Get Your Refund or tax benefits team.
Por los 4 meses que estaba en España, yo trabajé con un partido de gente maravillosa de la Unión General de Trabajadores y Trabajadoras.
It's a good cardigan, I agree.
De trabajadores y trabajadoras proveen servicios para que toda la gente del clase obrero en España utilicen sus servicios que están disponibles bajo de la ley. Estos servicios incluyen, pero no son limitados a asesoramiento legal y recursos para el desarrollamiento profesional. Específicamente, yo pasé mucho de mi tiempo trabajando con el partido de asesoramiento legal.
Decentralized, I'd say, like we don't have many members in certain. Well, we're not represented by a certain. We're not all in a certain workplace. We're all different workplaces, I would say. So UTOL provides like help for people who need help with their employment circumstances. Like maybe they're getting laid off, or they're having a problem at work, or they need representation in that way. It also helps with organising in your workplace if you want to try and do that. And yeah, loads of stuff, to be honest. Political organising though. Yeah.
So I was working there as a senior software engineer, and the particular project or service that I was working on was this thing called Get Your Refund. The idea was that people can go online and file their taxes, kind of similar to the TurboTax and H&R Block. The twist that we had with the product was that as you file through the process, depending on what state you're in and whatever kind of federal programs there are around, you can then get tax credits. So like, let's say you're a single parent and you have a few children, and there's like a tax credit that's available for your state or through the federal program, you can get that refund as well as getting a tax refund as well. One of the more common examples that was actually just ended about last year, it was last year, was the earned income tax credit for like single parents and whatnot. So that was a prime example of the kind of things I was working on at Code for America.
Okay. Well, some things your union does exceptionally well. Fight landlords and stand up for our members who may be getting evicted, may not be getting evicted, etc., etc. So messy the USA people have to jump through all these forms, just file tax. Yeah, it's messed up. It's messed up. Yeah, sick as hell. Yeah.
I think the reps is the part where people come and ask for help with their employment needs. Is really well done in our union, like they're overworked, I would say. But yeah, it's really good that they people are so passionate about it, even though they're volunteers, and they get a lot of good results from the things they try to do.
De verdad, mi experiencia con la Unión General de Trabajadores y Trabajadoras en España fue genial. Absolutamente fenomenal. Yo tenía la oportunidad
what's happened, Mr.
de
Dank?
trabajar con un partido de gente que son maravillosas. No sé cómo describirlo, otro que he tenido la oportunidad de trabajar
concerning squatters' rights.
En los Estados Unidos.
Oh, I've heard about this stuff.
Pero en España era un nivel diferente. En todos los eventos, en todas las oficinas, me sentía cómodo, me sentía como era un parte de un partido, me sentía apoyado en todos los contextos y también sentía como si tenía una pregunta lo podía hacer a toda la gente que estaba en la oficina, y también como una persona que hacía una práctica para una clase específicamente en los Estados Unidos. No pienso que tendría todas las oportunidades para viajar, especialmente a otros lugares como yo tenía en España con la Unión. Todos los abogados que trabajaban en la Unión General de Trabajadores y Trabajadoras eran bien educados y todavía son.
Lawyers are like super important for helping you understand what your rights are. Like that's why we're part of the Housing Justice Network with Greater Manchester Law Centre, because it's such an important thing to know what your rights are, even though the law can't necessarily like help you, and judges don't always rule in favor of what is correct ethically and morally when it comes to housing rights. It is still important to know what your rights are so that you just have that as a tool in your back pocket. You know, you got to have a bunch of different things in terms of like, you've got to have that knowledge of what your rights are. You've got to have the knowledge on how to negotiate with landlords and letting agents. You've also got to have the knowledge on how to engage in direct action, what kind of direct action works for each specific letting agent or landlord or social landlord. There's a lot of different tools, and it's the same for, it's the same for trade unions as well.
Y ellos eran muy informativas con todo.
Landlords can pretty much declare legitimate tenants squatters and have them forcibly removed. Oh, so like there are just no tenants' rights anymore. Like no, that's fucked. That's completely fucked. That is completely fucked. The only thing that we're going to see as a result of that is more tenant unions in Florida. There'll be tenant unions in Florida now popping up all over the place, who will be lobbying for changes to housing law. And there'll also just be a lot more homeless people. And, you know, what are you going to do with those homeless people, man? What are you going to do? There's only so many homeless people that you can just, like, have before, like, they start just, like, building their own society. You know what I mean? It's just like, the fuck? I wonder if anything like Code for America exists here too. A while back, I had to tell Sputnik about affordable broadband for people on universal credit because neither of us were aware prior to me finding that it existed. It's saving them like £40 a month. Yeah. This is the thing, right? This is the thing. People just don't know. People just don't know. Maybe that's something that you could, you could get involved with, TTK. Telling people generally what kind of stuff they can get. Because not everybody has the energy or the knowledge that they could go and have a look at like Citizens Advice and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Florida, they'll put them on buses and ship them north like they always do. Yeah, they probably will, won't they, Gobs? How are you doing, Gobs? Good to see you. Everybody, please go follow Goblin Hugger. They're an amazing streamer. How are you doing? Yeah.
La información de la ley y cómo se interactúa con las vidas cotidianas de toda la gente que están.
Thanks for the shout out, TTK.
Y a mí eso me importó mucho.
OPEI.
Citizens Advice has dreadful waiting times. Well, I don't necessarily mean like calling Citizens Advice. I mean like you can go on the Citizens Advice website and get lots of answers very, very quickly just from like a quick search, right? And that's really, really good. But if you do want that service, you are going to have those horrible waiting times, yeah.
Employees International Union.
Yeah, the website is good in itself.
That's how I remember it, right? But yeah, that is the parent union that Code for America Workers United, or CFAA, CFAC. There's so many abbreviations, but that's what Code for America's workers are you're organized under. They gave us a lot of support. We had a situation earlier, actually last year, where Code for America and the union disagreed heavily on who and what was in the union. You can imagine how very weird that is, seeing your manager effectively on a podium saying like, yeah, I think they do this, but they wouldn't qualify to be in this thing. And there was a lot of dynamic that I would say embroiled a lot more people towards wanting more for themselves.
En Europa en general.
I guarantee there'll be no penalties for landlords who fraudulently declare their tenants squatters too. Whatever legal redress a tenant may have will be expensive, and they'll be navigating it while newly homeless. Like this is a thing that happens in the UK because, so for example, if you are a lodger, that can happen, and they won't call you a squatter. They'll call you a trespasser, and it can be a lot more punitive what happens to you. Yeah, if you get evicted by your landlord and you don't leave, and they're like, this person's just trespassed in my house, they moved all their stuff in, what's going on? The police will be fucking horrific in general, but even worse in that regard. And and what people try and get away with in the UK, a lot of the times it'll be really, I think it'll be important to check out your state's constitution, because I think like if your state has a constitution, or if the federal constitution has anything in it about squatters' rights or landlord tenant relationships, you can probably fall back on that in knowing your rights, because I imagine if they're trying to change the law so that a landlord can just declare someone a squatter, there will be a law maybe somewhere saying, oh, actually, no, your tenancy is defined by your relationship to your landlord, because that's what we have in the UK. Like there will be landlords who try and get away with not giving people a proper tenancy agreement, and they'll say, oh, well, that means that you aren't a proper tenant, and you'll have to like, if I kick you out, you'll just have to go. I don't have to give you the proper 2 months notice or anything. But it's not true. It's not true. So anyone who's watching in the UK, if you've been told that you're a licensee or something, as long as your landlord doesn't live in the same property as you have all the same rights as a regular tenant on a fixed term tenancy. Even if your landlord's not giving you a fixed term tenancy, there are only two types of tenancies that you can have in any situation. It's a 6-month or a 12-month, or, well, you can have a 2-year tenancy as well, but that's quite rare. But yeah, so even if they've not like signed this proper thing to say that you have this fixed term tenancy, you do have one, and you would have to. Your landlord does have to adhere to all the laws that bind them with having an actual tenant in a fixed term lease. So yeah, but I'm not sure if you have anything like that in Florida. It's very like difficult to navigate states' laws and constitutions and all that kind of stuff. Always there is a 4 months time period. I don't know what you're on about there, but no, no, it's 6 months is the minimum tenancy that you can give someone. And there's always a 2 month. I don't know if you're on about like getting evicted, but there's a 2 month notice period they have to give you if they want to evict you. So that's that. And this is just private landlords, by the way. This isn't social landlords. So if you're on about social stuff, I'm not quite read up on social landlords, but social tenants have a lot of different protections, more than private tenants anyway.
Yo pienso que hay esta actitud de, el racismo no existe, o el racismo existe de maneras diferentes que...
This is true, they're right.
En los
they're right
Unidos.
about this.
Y pienso que el partido en UGT hizo un bien trabajo de disminuir todas las diferencias entre la raza y el color de piel y cómo ellos afectan a la experiencia de gente que específicamente son negros y cómo ellos accesan los servicios. Pero también yo pienso que en general en países como España, en Europa, hay un desarrollamiento que es necesario para seguir adelante en entender cómo funciona el racismo sistémico. Porque yo pienso que los países en Europa
Yeah, definitely.
son un poquito más progresivos y a un nivel más alto hay mucha gente que entienden cómo se interactúan el racismo sistémico con sus vidas cotidianas y cosas así, pero no sé si es porque he trabajado con individuales que eran un poquito más mayor en edad o personas que eran de una generación diferente que yo, pero yo pensaba que había un espacio de desarrollamiento que ellos podían utilizar para hacer más servicios, específicamente para gente que son negros, porque como ya dije y como todas las personas que están viendo este video saben, la vida cotidiana de gente negra son diferentes. Y no importa en cuál parte del mundo que estás, siempre son diferentes. Porque aunque los programas son más accesibles para gente de color que necesitan utilizarlos, hay que enfocar en la manera en que aplicamos los programas. Y eso es algo que suplica desarrollamiento. Y eso es una área que suplica el programa.
Yeah, the white supremacy in Europe is like, you know, it's a hell of a fucking drug, and people just they simply do not think that racism exists in Europe, at least in the same way that it does in the USA. Victory is absolutely spot on here. Like.
Well, definitely we could have more black members in the first place, is what I think. Like, I think we're obviously underrepresented in tech in general, but I think we could have more black members in the union. We have started doing things.
This is genuinely how I feel about GMTU as well. Like GMTU is lacking in more racialized members. It would be really good to have like more racialized members, and that's on us to try and like do more outreach and make it seem like a safer place, I guess, or just like a place where black members can come and you know, organize, and they'll be treated just as a person, just like anyone, just as any comrade would be treated. So yeah, I think this is a thing that's overwhelmingly an issue in many unions, you know.
To reach out to more black members.
It's the same for queer people as well. Like I've desperately tried to like kickstart the queer you know, liberation group in the union, and it was going all right for a bit. We had like a meeting, and then it kind of just fell off again. So it's just about getting more and more marginalized members and helping them, giving them the tools to organize and empowering them. You know, that's the important thing, right?
BAME, or as we've already discussed, like Black Ethnic Minority Caucus. Right. But yeah, there aren't as many black members as I would have assumed, given the focus of something like this in Labour, which would be good. Also, I think we probably aren't very good at issues like, specifically like black women issues, or something like that, like, you know, things where people are facing like multiple things that are like protected characteristics, rather than a very clear-cut one issue sort of thing. But that's just unions in general.
Yeah, they're right. That's literally just unions in general, yeah. It's literally unions in general. What are some changes or programs you would try to implement, try and better your union services? Well, yeah, that stuff is the first thing that I would say. But in terms of, yeah, we just need better comms, I think. I think that's one thing that GMTU struggles with, and that is like communications. We have a bad time sort of like communicating in between branches and, sharing events that are going on and like linking the northern branches to the southern branches and the eastern and western and all that stuff. So it's very difficult. It's a difficult job. Organizing is a difficult job. I'm not about to sit here and say it's dead easy and it'll be dead smooth. If you go and join your local union, if you get involved in like the dual power revolution, it's going to be super easy. It's not. It's hard work. But it's much more fulfilling than any other kind of hard work that you will do. And I can just guarantee that for you, You'll make lifelong friends because they're your comrades, different than friends, Yeah, it requires a lot of people, a lot of different things.
In terms of the kind of the things that I see workers at Code for America kind of pushing, something we were slamming very hard about and something we had full justification for was a 4-day work week. And the fact that we see so much evidence of states also piloting these programs and with high success and internal rejection of these concepts led people to kind of question, what does it mean to be aligned with government if we're actively avoiding the new ventures that government is going towards? Imagine where people who work in a postal office can work 4 days a week instead of having to work 6 or 7 to get things out.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things we're trying to demonstrate. Like, again, if we're able to sit in this different presence, like, again, we don't have a pension, but we had Athena Healthcare, which is better than most. If we had these spaces in which we could be comfortable with, there was a reason to push it forward. There was also strong cases made by parents who were in the organization showing that if they had these 4 days a week or be able to allocate the hours, they can handle childcare so much easier, which
childcare is such a big issue in our union as well, right? People, when you're organizing, what you tend to find when you organize is that the people who are organizing the most are less marginalized, right? And I think that is because, having less oppression, being more privileged means that you have more time and safety and security. That means that you can push the boat out to try and organize and help other people. But when that happens, you get blind spots, right? You get lots of different blind spots. And one huge thing that we've not really looked at, because most of our members who are on the committee are all young. We have one person, I think, who's over 40 on the elected member committee, and he's sorted for childcare kind of thing. He doesn't have to think about it, but it's one thing that we are we need to have maybe, I don't know, at the next all member meeting we need to have a crash or something. You know what I mean? It's a very difficult thing to try and organize, because then you've got to do things like, okay, well, we need to hire people who've got CBT checks. We need to make sure that people are comfortable with that. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. It can feel like spinning plates sometimes. Yeah, it's the leash on women. It's the leash on women for sure. For sure. Stops people from being able to do stuff.
Again, it was kind of ironic because one of the members of the management bargaining committee during the unit clarification meeting, it was hard for her to schedule time to attend because she had to figure out how to get childcare done.
Literally
this. Very, very,
literally
very
this.
serendipitous if they already had this in place. It's this cyclical thing because I think it's
a criminal background. I can't remember what the T stands for, but it's a criminal background check, basically to make sure that they're not a pedo. Yeah.
Cyclical thing where we try to demonstrate something, there's value in it, and it's
that's my bad for using an acronym. I'm always telling people to not use acronyms, but there's me using an acronym. Sorry about that, chat. Sorry about that.
Rejected solely for the purpose of just keeping people at work.
Pues para responder a esa pregunta, yo voy a empezar con mi experiencia como un estudiante que hacía una práctica. Yo pienso que haga una lista de vocabulario para ayudar a toda la gente que quieren hacer una práctica, específicamente para ellos, porque yo pienso que eso fue una de las cosas más difíciles cuando empezaba, era todos los términos.
This is a really, really good idea. I think another thing that unions need to be prepared to do in terms of comms is just have a lot of resources ready to go. You know, it's like, it's very, very difficult for people who just join the union when they come in and they hear terms like, you know, Section 21, Section 8, you know, it's very, very difficult for people to understand what's going on and what things mean and all that kind of stuff. Talking about like housing associations and whatnot. Yeah. So, yeah, it's very good to have like those kinds of resources. Just a nice little graphic, you know? Just get on Photoshop, make a nice little graphic, boom, it's done. If you're wondering what Tom is sniffing, he's sniffing my feet. He just gave me a little kiss. Did you just give me a little kiss on the foot? Aww. That's gross, buddy. That's gross. My bare feet that I've been walking around in the house all day. But he's giving me slow blinks, so he's fine with it. He's fine. He's fine with it, actually.
Sí, la ley, el vocabulario y cosas así. Algo de un cheat sheet, ¿me entiende? Para ayudar. Porque yo pienso que eso haga la experiencia de la práctica un poquito más cómodo. Porque yo tenía fluencia en español.
He gave me a little lick on the feet, yeah.
Yo podía tener conversaciones y cosas así. Era un poquito más fácil para mí en ese sentido. Pero no me he entrenado en todos los términos del gobierno y la ley. Especialmente la ley de los obreros. No sé. Y si podía hacer un programa, yo pienso que lo haga, que todos los servicios que son ofrecidos por la OGT sean fundados por otros causas o por el gobierno.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yo pienso que me pone mal que los obreros tienen que pagar para los servicios. Y yo entiendo que los abogados que trabajan para la OGT necesitan ser pagados.
Like, I think if you're running a union where you are having to pay for services rather than just paying membership dues because you know, you want to support, you want to be part and have solidarity with other workers, with other, you know, tenants or whatever it is, whatever kind of union you join in. I think that, like, you know, it's just gonna end up failing, because if you start to do stuff as like casework, you're not going to be empowering people. You're not going to be empowering people to, like, you know their rights as a worker or know their rights as a tenant. Like, this is the very important thing when it comes to building power. You have to empower people. That's what building power is all about. If you're building worker power, you got to empower your workers. If you're building tenant power, you got to empower your fellow tenants, right? You know, it's just yeah, you need to have that. You need to have that agitation. You need to have that radicalization. You need to have that education, vision building, so that people understand the vision of the union. Because it can get very lazy. Do you know what I mean? And that's how you end up getting, like, reactionary people sneaking through the cracks. Because if you're just very lazy and you're like, join the union, it's dead good, and it's all community and very cool and and you don't really explain the vision properly, where it's like, yeah, we want to abolish landlords. Yeah, we want to seize the means of production. We want to seize the means of communication, whatever it is, right? Then you're just gonna get, like, reactionaries falling through the cracks. And I'm not saying that, like, you have to make it inaccessible to unpoliticized people. You just have to word that stuff in a way that makes sense, right? And that should come with the agitation that you do in empowering someone. So, for example, if I speak to a member who is going to have a dispute or whatever, with their landlord, the first thing that I will do is try and gauge how willing they are to try and actually take on this dispute as their own dispute. You know, sort of lead on it and like do most of the work really, and just have us supporting them, because that is really a measure of how much you have empowered someone. If you could get someone to like write a little draft letter to send to the landlord, if you can get them to like, spread all the stuff around on social media, come up with the social media campaign, wording, all that kind of stuff. They're getting involved. They're doing stuff, and all that kind of business. It's very difficult to try and agitate someone who is a very privileged person who, you know, if they've got a dispute with the landlord, they're not really bothered because it's just like, yeah, well, I'm just going to move out at the end of the month anyway. Then it's like, well, you're not really empowering that person. They're just seeing if you can do a thing for them and give them a quick fix and get them some compensation or something. And if they're not going to lead on it, then they're not really interested. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, you gotta have that vision building. You gotta have that vision building. Otherwise, you're not going to empower people. You're going to get reactionary slipping through the cracks. It's a very important thing to do.
Así que yo prefiera que esos fondos
He's having a
sean
bath.
de otros lugares que los obreros.
He's having a bath.
¿Sí me entienden?
So the program I make is definitely paying the reps. So it's not free labour, and ideally, like the people, I guess everyone who's like volunteering for the union and are like more tangible way would be paid and compensated for the time and get like apart from more than just expenses. I would do more outreach and like advertising, I think, because a lot of people don't really understand what union is outside of like strikes.
Yep, this is huge. This is massive. Me and this person could talk at length. I forget what their name is. Olu, I think their name is. People are sometimes like, union, what do you mean? You know, well, they don't really say that. They're just like, a lot of people don't even realize what a tenants union is or what it could be capable of, you know?
And like the benefits you can get from being part of one. And I just generally try and like leftist agitate in the black community. I feel like a lot of black tech people aren't very like politically minded. Does that make sense in the UK? So yeah, I try and combat that as well.
Now that we've internalized some of the experiences that black workers and unions have in the present day all around the globe, let's talk about some of the ways you can contribute to black workers. By being one of my patrons! Now here's a shout out to the patrons because they so great and they fun all the things on
Go
the
and support
channel,
Victory,
so
everyone.
become a patron.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to our newest patrons, Stacy and M.
Make sure you go comment, subscribe on Victory's video. Very, very good video. I think there's a little tiny bit at the end of this video.
Now, speaking of helping. As a U.S. full-time university student that works 2 jobs and makes things on the internet doing nearly all of the jobs that a full-service, in-house creative agency would be doing, this means a lot of things.
It's a good vid. It's good and it's important.
It means that many things that workers like myself have been asking for are more than possible and actually make more sense than current systems that the U.S. has in place. I'm looking at you, free healthcare and low to no cost higher education. For me, building upon this tradition looks like utilizing my voice to continue to speak up on matters regarding equitable pay for student workers, raising or eliminating the income ceiling for state-subsidized healthcare because it really just should be free, and supporting things like the Affordable Connectivity and Lifeline Acts that allow for U.S. citizens to remain connected in our increasingly digital, Reed is chronically online. Now, you could pull a Jackie and help organize an entire union, or pull a me and be a person that supports the people that are doing things like that with everything that you have. I hope you've enjoyed learning about some global black labor history with us.
Oh yeah.
But now, I'm curious to hear how your life would be changed if your job had a union, or if you had access to things like free healthcare or low to no cost higher education. I also want to hear about how else we can continue to build upon the tradition of labor organizing for BIPOC and other marginalized individuals. Let me know in the comment section. I have victoriously completed another video, and until the next time, bye.
Thank you very much, Victory. Thank you very much. Chat, that was a great video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, rewatch the video later on when you're not here in the stream. Chat, we are almost 2 hours into the stream. The boy has disappeared. It's very sad, but I can't really control him. He's just a small boy. He's a small baby boy. So, yeah. Please consider subbing off Twitch. It's that time for me to do that call to action. Please sub off Twitch. I would only ask you to sub the same amount that you would on Twitch itself, which would be about £5 or $5 or however much it is in your country of residence. The main reason that I asked you to do this is because Twitch is a pretty bad platform. It bans people for talking about Palestine. It bans people just for like being a woman and being political. It's not very good at supporting marginalized creators, black creators, queer creators, Latini creators, all kinds of marginalized people have a shit time on Twitch. So make sure you take that into consideration. And of course, it means that 100% of the money that you spend on the stream will come to me, your boy, Donkus Jonkus. And it means that I can pay my rent, my bills, take myself out on little dates, all this kind of stuff. And also, consider the boy that's been on the screen for like the last hour and 55 minutes. The small baby boy, he is my son, and I love him very much. And he requires comfies, he requires treats, he requires his expensive raw food diet. That makes him very, very healthy and very good. And my friend, he appreciates me for doing that for him. So please consider subbing off Twitch. We only need hit the extended dono goal. Another £34. Is that what it is? I think so. Yeah, £34. Wait, is that right? No. That's not right. No, it is. It is right. It is right. Yeah, another £34. So that would be 7 people donating £5 each, roughly that. So please consider subbing off Twitch. Please consider supporting the stream in that regard. If you're not financially capable of supporting the stream, don't worry about it. It's all good. What you could do is you could go to the Go Live tweet. You can retweet that or the Go Live skeet, and that should hopefully attract other people to the stream. Someone who may be more financially capable, and then they can give me money, and that'd be very good and poggers for me. And everyone involved in the stream, because it means that I can continue to do this job. So, with all that in mind, don't forget, tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, but Saturday, we've got a big day of incentive, incentive streams. So we're going to be having the movie night. So don't forget, double feature movie night. It's this Saturday at 6 p.m. Make sure you're in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, there's a link to the Discord. Join it. It will be very good and very cool. We're going to be watching Heavy Metal and I, Daniel Blake. So go ahead, join, and I'll see you at 6 p.m. on Saturday for movie night. And also here, live on Twitch and YouTube, we're going to be doing an educational game stream on Saturday afternoon / Saturday morning just before that. So very exciting, very cool. Hope to see you all then. Anyway, we got more stuff to be watching tonight. I am going to be showing you a very, very exciting video. This is from Second Thought. Second Thought is a channel that I've not really checked out too much, but I've gotten around to it, and we're going to be watching his video it's his latest video. Can't remember what the guy's name is. I think it's JT. Yeah. So we're going to be watching JT's vid on how the media controls the masses. So it's media consent machine go burr. So let's check this out. Like, comment, subscribe, support JT, our leftist YouTube creator friends, and let's check it out. Let's watch the video.
The Second Thought is now on Means TV. You can get your first month 50% off when you sign up with the link below. What is the news? When you turn on the TV and flip to CNN or Fox or NBC, what are you being shown? Ostensibly, the news is just that, a presentation of current events. I think we all know there's a little more to it. Every network has a bias, and if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that the corporate media as a whole has a single overarching bias. But we'll get to that. The question we need to answer today is, in a world where information is more readily available than ever, are we truly informed, or are we being manipulated?
I knew I was going to enjoy this channel, chat.
Whether you consider yourself to be on the left or on the right, odds are you think the media is dishonest. Well, pat yourself on the back, you're absolutely right. But in the United States, most people tend to think about the media being dishonest in a particular way. If you ask someone on the right, they'll say CNN and MSNBC are fake news. They're twisting the truth to make conservatives look bad. And if you ask someone on the American left, they'll say Fox shouldn't be considered a news network at all, and they only exist to make liberals look bad.
The American
While
left.
there is some genuine beef between liberal and conservative outlets, and their viewership often does kind of hate each other, that's not the kind of dishonesty that really matters. Yes, MSNBC loves to make fun of Trump's mannerisms, and Fox loves to highlight Biden's gaffes. But at the end of the day, all these corporate networks play for the same team, and that's powerful interests that not only own the media, but pretty much every aspect of modern politics.
Yep.
Here's a quick rundown. You have a tremendously wealthy group of people and business interests. They donate large sums of money to politicians. Politicians
All the same, it's all
deregulate
Murdoch,
the
it's
media.
true.
Now these ultra-wealthy players have both elected officials and media outlets in their pocket. What do they do with that influence? They spend a little bit of money, relatively speaking, we're still talking millions, to make sure our society is
I love that. I love JT, and this video is great. Yeah, that intro also sounds totally like one of the innumerable ground news sponsorships everyone has at the minute. I don't understand. Innumerable ground news sponsorship?
structured in such a way that they can make a lot of money. That means the
Don't know what you're
passing
on
of bills
about.
that allow, for example, oil drilling in protected areas. That also means providing scripts to local news networks to spin their actions as positive and win over the public. Remember that viral clip from a few years ago?
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
You were expecting what?
To our democracy.
What am I missing out on?
That was the work of a company called Sinclair Broadcasting, which owns dozens of local news channels and had a message they wanted to put in front of the viewers. This, in a nutshell, is how corporate mind control works. Invest in politics, buy favorable legislation, make sure the public doesn't get too angry by controlling the narrative. Most people
Ground News is a company service a lot of channels are being sponsored by. Right, gotcha,
watching this
gotcha.
video are probably too young to remember, but before 2001, the 24-hour news cycle didn't exist.
That's true.
Being bombarded with manipulated information 24/7 is a relatively new phenomenon, and we're only just beginning to understand the consequences. The main takeaway from the last 20 years or so is that corporate media not only influences, but often dictates public opinion, shaping narratives to serve particular
Could you imagine if the
Even-
could you imagine if the djmuel stream was a constant 24-hour 24/7 news cycle? It was just leftist news 24/7. Whenever I come off, someone else takes my place. Tom comes and does the stream instead of me. Yeah. And then later on, like someone else, like I don't know, like one of my comrades from the union comes comes on and does that. Hey Moharsh, welcome to the
cost
stream.
of human
How you doing?
lives, as evidenced by its complicity in the genocide of the Palestinian people, which we'll talk about in a minute. But first, just one quick statistic.
Simulacra everywhere. Yeah, that's
there
right.
are about 3,000 outlets that are
It needs a
considered
theme
sources of
tune,
news
it's
in
true.
the US. All of them are owned by one of just 21 companies, and every single major news outlet, we're talking CNN, MSNBC, Fox, NBC,
I know exactly what the theme tune would be. That's right. Okay. Yeah, there you go. That would be the theme tune.
all the big
I've had a reason to think about the Matrix again today. Now it happens again. Yeah, we're back, baby.
owned by just 5. This quasi-monopoly allows the people who own these companies to feed the masses a twisted version of reality, and make people believe whatever they want us to believe. This creates an environment in which only the news that fits the interest of the individuals who own these private companies makes it to the public.
We're talking a lot about that today, haven't we,
Media
chat?
goes hand in hand with the corporate
You got to think about how like Israel is a combination of Lockheed Martin, Elbit Systems, Hewlett Packard, all these massive corporate technology and arms firms coming together to like create a state, right? Like that's what Israel is. So if we think about like why there is so much consent manufactured for Israel, it's because there's a lot of money in that game, right? There's a lot of money in that game of genocide. Elbit Systems is making a lot of money. Therefore the state of Israel is making a lot of money. It's all a big fucking circle jerk. Therefore the US is making money. Therefore the UK is making money, etc., etc., etc. All this stuff, right? Billions and billions and billions of pounds, billions of dollars. Every month, every single month, every single month, Joe Biden is passing another bill to send more aid to Israel, more billions of dollars to Israel. Do you know what I mean? Genocide, Joe.
Domination of the government and perpetuates a system where absurdly wealthy individuals run the show without ever needing to be elected. Let's take a look at a currently ongoing case study. The joint U.S.-Israeli genocide of Palestine.
Yeah, here we
I've
go.
given a history of the ethnic cleansing
Case study, here we go.
Videos, which I'll link in the description, as well as some other resources to give you some context if you're not familiar with the situation. The very short version is this. The Israeli apartheid regime has been attempting to ethnically cleanse Palestinian land of its indigenous population for over 75 years. The brutality sharply escalated in the aftermath of a surprise attack by the Palestinian resistance on October 7th. Since then, Israel
Surprise attack by Palestinian resistance on October the 7th. He's right, and he should say it, chat. He's right. Fuck yeah.
At least 30,000 people, roughly half of whom are children. It's hard to even get accurate counts anymore because the IDF has purposefully destroyed every hospital in Gaza, as well as infrastructure, schools, refugee camps, and international aid vehicles. The footage coming out of Gaza is horrific. This is the most widely shared and recorded genocide in history. So it would stand to reason that Western media would be journalistically obligated to report these facts, right? This is where it becomes apparent that the corporate media absolutely does not provide factual reporting. Since October 7th, the media has dutifully reported Israeli propaganda word for word with zero evidence. The accusation of 40 babies being beheaded was proven to be a lie. US media is still running with it. The accusations of mass sexual assault were proven to be a lie. The media hasn't walked that one back either. The Hamas headquarters under hospitals? A lie. Literally every accusation Israel has made has turned out to be a complete fabrication. And yet the media still twist themselves into knots to let Israel off the hook.
Yep.
Why? We'll get to that in a minute, but first let's take a look at some concrete examples of media complicity in genocide. We'll start with the nuts and bolts of how media spin works. If you're thinking, well, who the hell is this guy to explain this stuff? My degree was in journalism and mass communication. This is my bread and butter. I specifically chose not to go into mainstream journalism because of this exact problem. All of these rhetorical tricks are very common, but they're also super easy to see through once you know how to look out for them.
The guy who said the kid's beheading has admitted it was a lie. Really? Who was that guy? Hey, what's going on, B-Rat? Good to see you. Good to see you. Who was that fucking guy? Because we watched the Al Jazeera documentary last week when it came out. And I forget who specifically said the 40 beheaded babies guy. It was like an IDF soldier, wasn't it? I've just noticed that my feet are popping up on the Tom cam right there, so I'm just going to get rid of that. No free feet, chat. No free feet without donos. I will not be showing feet for donos. Do not misconstrue that. John Twitch, especially. John Twitch's little spies who are in my chat. I will not be doing that.
Take this headline for
no GAT cam for donos. We're not doing that over here.
Example. Starvation is stalking Gaza's children. Okay, at first glance, that seems alright. It recognizes that children in Gaza are starving. What's the issue here? I bet you can guess. It doesn't address the critical question of why they're starving. People don't just randomly starve en masse.
Yeah.
It leaves out that teeny little bit of information that Israel is...
The headline seems to imply, like, so if you've already had your consent manufactured about what Palestinians are like, right? That they elected this horrible terrorist organization to rule them, and that's why they're all starving, because they're spending all their money on bombs to blow up Israeli children and then fucking sexually assault them and all this stuff, and that's why they're starving, right? That's what you're gonna think by reading that. Your mind is gonna be like, oh, it's Hamas. That's why Hamas is starving Gaza's children. You're not gonna be like, actually, it's because of Israel not allowing aid in, right? Who's this? Megan K. Stack, a contributing opinion writer. Should we just have a quick Google as to who that is? Megan K. Stack. She's an author. Oh, this is the New York Times bio. I don't want to read that. We got like a Wikipedia page for Megan K. Stack? No? Really? We have to go off what the New York Times says. Well, we've got a Twitter here. Let's have a look at this tweet. What's this tweet that she said? I find it strange, peripheral, to obsess unduly on ideological clashes, albeit bitter ones, on college campuses, given the events in Gaza these long and terrible months. It seems reasonable that violence at this scale is argued and protested by students in the country enabling and funding the war. You may not like all the rhetoric, but wouldn't it be worse if these students, bright young minds, just reaching intellectual maturity, were indifferent to their country's role in this much destruction and killing, which is under international investigation for genocide? All right, okay, at least she's saying this. At least she's saying this. Maybe it's the fact that she works for the New York Times that they like forced her. Like the editor was like, no, you got to word it like this. You can't possibly say Israel is starving Gaza's children. I don't know. Anyway, the reason that I wanted to Google that is because, like, sometimes if you just Google a random New York Times writer, it will be like, this person has never done journalism ever before, and actually they just served in the IDF. Brilliant. That's great. Great journalism.
Purposefully starving these people. They control the roads in and out of Gaza. They have blocked humanitarian aid for months. They have opened fire on children swimming out into the ocean to retrieve airdrop supplies.
Yeah.
At time of writing, the world just witnessed what will be called by future generations the Flower Massacre, where Israeli troops lured Palestinians to a vital food drop, then butchered them, killing over 100 people and wounding 700 more. There's a picture circulating of a parcel of flour soaked in blood, which people are calling the most expensive bag of flour in human history. Palestinians have been forced to resort to eating grass, animal feed, giving newborns a date wrapped in cloth to suck on, anything to give them a little sustenance. And of course, these people are dying. This is Israel's doing.
Yeah.
It is intentional. It is a war crime. So when the New York Times, the most respected paper on earth, leaves out that critical piece of information, it lets Israel off the hook for genocide. A responsible headline would be, Israel is starving Gaza's children. And while we're on the subject of the Flower Massacre, it's sickening to see perhaps the most blatant war crime yet get twisted to avoid naming the perpetrators. Here's the New York Times on the event. Live updates. In chaotic Gaza scene, many are killed and wounded.
Megan undoubtedly sucks, but she wouldn't have written the headline. However, if she considered it false, she'd have gotten it changed. So don't believe any dodge she tries to use. Yeah. I can believe that.
Israelis open fire.
They're even using airdrops as weapons to smash housing too, yeah.
This is another one where the average person might think this is an acceptable, if strangely worded, headline. Let's break it down. What happened? Starving Palestinians were baited into a killing field by much-needed food aid and then were butchered by Israeli troops. How would you spin that? Instead of saying massacre, you could use chaotic scene. You're not technically lying, massacres are chaotic. Instead of citing the death and injury statistics, you could just say many. That makes it more palatable. Then instead of explicitly saying the occupation forces targeted and shot the starving people, you could simply say they opened fire, helping stoke the misconception that people were killed not by Israeli troops, but in a stampede. This is journalistic malpractice at its best. You maintain plausible deniability while completely obfuscating the reality of the event. A responsible headline would be Massacre in Gaza. 100 killed, 700 wounded as IDF fire on starving Palestinians assembling to receive food aid.
Yep.
It gets all the facts across, it's just as concise, and it doesn't let the perpetrator off the hook.
Very Telegraph. I think like the New York Times and the Telegraph are related. I might be wrong. But I'm fairly certain that they're owned by like the same conglomerate. I could be entirely wrong, but it feels like they are. They actually have like a very similar font, don't they?
But the New York Times isn't alone in obfuscating the truth of this story. There are countless other examples. The Associated Press doesn't mention Israel. Neither does
Same
Forbes,
connections.
or Voice of America.
Thanks for the
USA
follow.
Today even repeats Israeli lies despite video evidence of what happened. But perhaps most egregious is the BBC's headline. Israel-Gaza war. More than 100 killed as crowd waits for aid, Hamas-run health ministry.
The BBC should be dismantled. They should be abolished. Fuck them all. Load of shit, literally a government mouthpiece at this point. Fuck him.
Ministry says. This is truly reprehensible. Not only do they not mention that the IDF were the murderers, they also disingenuously call the genocide a...
Pitsy says, you've got a lovely microphone. It's a major phone as far as I'm concerned. Correct. Welcome to the stream, fellow audiophile. Rode NT1As are the absolute goat. How you doing?
War, and they managed to squeeze big, scary Hamas into a story that has nothing to do with Hamas.
Scary Hamas,
Even
scary
if
brown
you think
people.
Hamas are terrorists. In which case, I have bad news for you about what you would have thought about every other historical liberation movement.
Tied to so many terrible
saying
things, it's true.
Hamas-run health ministry is like saying United States-run health ministry. Hamas is the elected government of Palestine.
Yep.
All the BBC is trying to do here is scare people by invoking the name of the current Western boogeyman. Let's take another example. Once again, from the New York Times. Hamas rejects ceasefire proposal, dashing Biden's hopes of near-term deal. That sounds pretty bad. I thought the Palestinian people wanted a ceasefire. Must be that evil Hamas not caring about their people again. Let's take a quick look at the article. What's this? Hamas is maintaining their position of demanding a long-term ceasefire, not the brief humanitarian pause policy wonks have come up with. So, what's the real story here? The elected government of Palestine has maintained the...
Made the vaccine scare worse by treating it as legit for no reason, yeah. Same with TERFs, yeah, the BBC is so bad. Biden's hopes, yeah, it's so fucked, isn't it? It's so fucked. Like, Biden doesn't give a shit about a ceasefire. And even then, arguably, they were elected since they were propped up by Israel. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, they were elected for a couple of reasons. It's because they're the only political body that is advocating for armed resistance against the occupying force. But also, Israel has propped them up for that reason, because that gives them grounds to respond in the way that they have done, right? If they do any armed resistance, which they did on October the 7th, yeah. If they're an elected government, Hamas military is a real military, so can they be really deemed terrorists? Right, okay. But also conversely, they're not a real military, because they're like, they have like fucking RPGs held together with duct tape, smuggled under tunnels from fucking Iran, and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, I get what you're saying, like a legitimate military. So yeah, calling them terrorists is a bit like, you know. But of course, they're calling them terrorists because that's the scary boogeyman word, isn't it? Yeah.
Same position as always. Israel makes a ludicrous offer of Palestine releasing their prisoners in exchange for a brief ceasefire, after which point the genocide will continue.
Yep.
And somehow the headline they come up with is Hamas rejects ceasefire.
Hey, Lexi, no worries.
More to it. Obvious Hamas scaremongering.
Sorry I'm late. Don't you worry at all. You got to do lines. You got to be like, I will not be late. You just got to write that once. I will never be late again. Write it once. We do punitive justice here in the djmuel stream. We don't actually do that. You don't have to do that.
Aside, the headline also tries to paint Biden in a good light. This is very sneaky. The fact of the matter, regardless of how Biden and the pundit class have tried to spin it, is that the
I'll never be late again. She did it, chat. She did it.
In the genocide. The U.S. has vetoed the ceasefire not once, but twice. We have sent weapons.
On the bright side, it's not collective punishment. That's true.
Cleansing. And now reports are
chat. You've all got it right. I will never be late again in the chat immediately.
out that there in fact are American soldiers.
Collective punishment just because Lexi was late.
Occupied Palestine taking active part in the genocide. This was suspected when the White House put out and then quickly deleted a tweet suggesting as much a few months ago, and has been all but confirmed with Aaron Bushnell's statements and the photos of US soldiers circulating online.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. This is not just the Israeli genocide of Palestine. This is the US-Israeli genocide of Palestine. If we fund and arm the murderers, if we veto the ceasefire, if our media does everything it can to deflect the blame, we are complicit. And the New York Times trying to suggest he's working so hard for peace makes our media complicit.
Yeah, very
and
true.
These are just a tiny handful of examples of how the media twists their words, omits crucial details, and just straight up repeats debunked Israeli propaganda. There are hundreds more from the last few months alone. But I want to talk about one example that should be the nail in the coffin of US media legitimacy. You probably saw this story by the New York Times back in December.
Oh boy, here we fucking go, chat. Get your fucking hazmats on, some extreme toxic bullshit from the New York Times. We're having this fucking, this one again.
November of 2023. It was a bombshell report. There was evidence of mass sexual assault on October 7th. Maybe it wasn't just an oppressed people resisting their executioners. Maybe these were the barbarians at the gates. This story was a key galvanizing force in uniting the West in support of Israel's ethnic cleansing campaign. And if the average person were to read the article, it seems pretty damning. Wow.
I've been doing so many, like, there are so many levels, right? There are so many layers of consent manufacturing in this story that it's very difficult actually to try and fully understand everything that's going on, because of course we've spoken about the fact that it's trying to paint Palestinians that are a majority Muslim population as evil rapists. All they want to do is rape women. That's what their whole society is about. They're disgusting, horrible, evil people. But on top of it as well, it is just Israel playing the victim again and again and again so many times, when it is in fact like the most well-funded advanced army in the entire world. That fucking army is being used to just like oppress, do apartheid, ethnic cleansing, all this stuff, just like sniping kids from a border wall that's been there for 20 odd years. It's like, it's such a joke. I still don't understand how people read that and then think, well, okay, they must be justified in starving children then. Well, they think that because of all the other levels of manufacturing consent. Even if it's 100% true, does it change what's happening, right? No, for sure, no, it doesn't. I mean, we're able to look at that because we've got correct and good informed brains, right? That's why we're able to see that and go, even if that was happening, it still doesn't justify a genocide, right? It wouldn't justify a genocide. Of course not. Because we've got good brains that are not fascist. We're anti-carceral justice. We're anti-collective punishment. We're pretty progressive, right? But the reason that the most of the world feel like that is because, like, A, they're far away, B, they're already in that white supremacist, these people are just brown, don't care about them, they're in another country, and also like they think that way about people in their own town, right? Like if someone was outed as a rapist in their own neighborhood, they would be like, oh well, that person's family can never be seen ever again, and in fact if they all went to prison, that would be good actually. Do you know what I mean? Like, collective punishment is something that it's manufactured consent from the moment that you exist in this society, an imperial core society, right? There is no transformative justice. There is only carceral collective punishment, punitive justice. Hey, Queen Pip, how's it going? Everybody, please go follow Queen Pip. She's amazing. I'm still stuck on a line from the 1987 Dragnet film where Joe Friday is trying to describe how fearless and well-equipped the LAPD is, and the bad guy gets confused and thinks he's describing the Israelis. That's fucking right. It's fucking right. Like JT said, once you know the tricks, you see them everywhere. Normies, not so much. Yeah, this is it. It's about knowledge, and what you have to do is, if you come across normies who are saying this, you just have to do your best to be like, this is not true, it's sensationalist, it's trying to make you okay with the fact that our country is doing a genocide in it. Do you know what I mean? You have to try and hit them in that like direct way. If you're in the UK, if you're in the US, if you're in Germany, you have to be like, our country is part of this. Our country is doing this. That's why you are being led to believe that this is happening, right? And that this is a good response. It's a very, very hard thing to do. So I'm not going to go out there and say like, that's your leftist praxis homework for the week. I would much prefer you to join a union. Much prefer you to join a union than waste your time trying to debate people who have got the brainworms. It's a bit too late for that. Yeah, we're born in a prison. We're born in a prison culture. That's what it is, innit? Right? That's what it is.
Oh, they say there's overwhelming evidence. Who could possibly defend these monsters? There's only one problem. Well, two problems. One, there wasn't any evidence. And two, it was written by an IDF soldier with no journalism experience and attributed to another writer.
It's just
a brilliant
so
expose
insane.
by The Intercept
So
revealed
insane.
just how absurd the story actually was. This is Anat Schwartz, Israeli filmmaker and former IDF intelligence official. She was approached by the New York Times to work on a story about sexual violence on October 7th. Schwartz was hesitant, recounting on Israel's Channel 12 podcast that she had, quote, no qualifications, and on another podcast...
I've actually not read this Intercept thing. I've not read it. All that I know about the sexual assault allegations is that New York Times article is bunk. We read like a bit of a Zay Squirrel thread about it here on the stream, but you know, I knew that she had no journalistic experience, and I knew that she was in the IDF. And of course, like, we watched the Al Jazeera documentary, and we knew that there was like basically no evidence of sexual assault. But I didn't know that she was like on this. I didn't know that she was on this podcast going like, yeah, I'm not sure because I don't have any qualifications. The chat, this is a joke. It's a joke.
Asked that, quote, it was more of a case of the New York Times having to convince me. She got over her initial hesitancy and agreed to work with Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter
Fuck the New York
Gettleman on the
Times.
story. Gettleman, a veteran reporter for the Times, typically does much of the legwork for his stories. But interestingly...
Okay, and you know why this guy did this, right? You know why this guy did this? He got her to do it, because then when anything came out, he could be like, yeah, that was my bad. I wanted a source close to the ground, but I didn't do my due diligence, and she's not actually a journalist. So he could throw her under the bus, and he could keep his career, right? But he should never be allowed to do that. This man should be in a gulag. I'm sorry, chat. Like, prison abolition, except for this man entirely, and also for this person here. Anyone who is involved in this fucking article, it's fucking disgusting.
In this case, it was the complete novice who did most of the on-the-ground reporting. Gettleman acted more as an assembler for the data Schwartz provided. On the podcast, she would make it clear that the Times already had their preferred story in mind. That there was
some columnists as well, yeah.
Violence on October 7th. All she had to do was deliver the details. She went on to recount her extensive efforts to find any evidence whatsoever to support the claims. She called every hospital, crisis center, hotline, trauma recovery center, and psychiatric doctor in Israel, and not one of them reported a single instance of assault. This was a problem for the Times, so she kept digging, looking for anything that could at least suggest that the paper's claims were legitimate. Eventually, and by her own admission against her best judgment, she cited an extremist group with a long history of debunked lies, and the IDF reservist who started the false rumor of a baby being cut from its pregnant mother and beheaded.
Cool.
That did not happen. Even the Israeli media had to walk that one back.
Adrian Zen's method. Hey, Moss World, how you doing?
Feel the need to mention the soldiers' lack of credibility. Even family members of killed Israelis deny the stories, with the sister of one victim saying their story doesn't make sense, and her brother-in-law saying the media invented it.
Wild.
And this is a difficult topic to talk about, because every single decent person on Earth is against sexual violence. People who perpetrate such acts should be locked up for life, and that's being generous. But when the world's most respected newspaper fabricates a story, provides knowingly bogus evidence, and weaponizes these accusations in the service of getting the American people to support genocide, that is evil. It's a powerful accusation because you can't argue against it without mountains of data.
It is evil.
You can't just wave off accusations of sexual violence, and that makes it very difficult for the average person to push back on propaganda like this. Thankfully, The Intercept has now provided that evidence, and I would highly recommend you all bookmark it to send to people who try to use debunked lies to legitimize their support for the genocide of the Palestinian people. I won't be the first to point out that this story might just be the worst case of journalistic malpractice in living memory. It's up there with the lies that started the Iraq War. This article directly contributes to the massacre of thousands of people. Thousands. And there will not be any consequences. Okay, so
hey, Crystal, what's up?
We all know that. But they've been especially bad about Palestine. Why? Why are they so invested in covering for atrocities? Well, there are a few reasons. First, Israel, for a very long time, has functioned as a bastion of Western influence in the Middle East.
Yeah.
A nuclear power fiercely opposed to all the US's enemies, happy to host American soldiers, happy to train American cops, and more than happy to accept US funding to keep the region perpetually destabilized and under constant threat of nuclear annihilation.
It's money. It's always
Israel
money.
is a useful ally for the United States, and that means it gets unconditional good press. The second reason is that AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, is incredibly powerful. AIPAC, like any other lobbying group, wields tremendous influence over government policy by virtue of handsome donations to relevant politicians. Their spending has ramped up enormously since 2018, which coincidentally is when you start to see a much more favorable spin on Israel stories in the media, as well as an even softer stance from politicians. And would you like to know who the biggest recipient of pro-Israel money is? One Joseph R. Biden.
Whoa!
Between 1990 and 2024, Biden has received over...
Just think about this, chat. Just think about this. From 1990 to 2024, Joe Biden has received $5 million from AIPAC. $5 million. So, you know, the other day when we were talking about Joe Biden's money, and there were some other things that we didn't know, you can't verify, you don't know. He's got all that fucking disgusting fucking genocide blood money all over his hands, all in his bank account, squirreled away. He's got it in property, maybe using it as to be a landlord and all this shit. Yeah, he was saying that if there was no Israel, we'd make one. Yeah. Look who else is there, chat. Hillary. We got Hillary Clinton out there as well. Joe Lieberman, he died yesterday, didn't he? He died yesterday. All that wasted money, Israel. What did that get you? $2 million. $2 million down the drain. Anyway, okay. It's funny that he died. Mitch McConnell down there as well. Yeah.
Over $5 million in funding from pro-Israel groups.
Yeah, where's my $5 million a year? I know, what the fuck? It's fucked.
Including AIPAC. So you've got two very compelling reasons for the media to cozy up to Israel already. But there's one
Bob Menendez kept his Israel money in his sock drawer.
Most of our politicians just have god-awful politics. Many of the people...
You had a career workshop today specific to your field? Hell yeah, let's go, Crystal.
They're ancient, decrepit ghouls who are so out of touch with the average person that they've bought their own propaganda. In their mind, the United States is truly the best country on earth. And if that's true, and Israel is our staunchest ally, well, then Israel must be good too. Yeah, some of our politicians are bought, and some are genuinely evil. But never discount people just having bad ideas sometimes. That's not to let them off the hook, just something to keep in mind with people in general. So, what does all this mean? What's the bottom line here? If we have a government that is willing to disregard not only the vast majority of countries around the world, but also international law, the majority of their own citizens, and basic human decency, and we have a media apparatus that is willing to carry water for that regime and brainwash the masses into supporting incredible evil, then it is our responsibility as human beings to take matters into our own hands. There's an endless stream of...
Hey, London Cheesehead, how's it going? Did you see that MP campaign for a fish and chip shop? But he blocked on in 2019. What are you on about? Meanwhile, you got motherfuckers on the internet doing that shit for free. It's true. What a joke. What a joke. Can you imagine trying to be a Hasbara mouthpiece for free? Incredible. 150,000 a year. He's basically an employee of AIPAC. That's true, Leom. Hey, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Yeah. In Uxbridge, what do you mean? What are you on about? Uxbridge MP fish and chip shop.
Coming out of Gaza. You can find it on Twitter and Telegram especially. Amplify it. Share it with your friends, your family, your co-workers. Do your part to help people understand that neither our elected officials nor our media represent the average person.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Uxbridge Tory MP who started a petition for a local fish and chip shop voted against one in 2019. That's so stupid. What the fuck? No, I'm not going to get stun locked on this. I'm not. I'm just going to have a little look at it. He wanted to bring a chip shop to the centre of Uxbridge because it would support our high street. It will support business and help the local economy. Former Hillingdon Labour councillor Kerry Prince tweeted a link to a planning meeting from 2019 where Mr. Tuckwell had voted down a similar plan. That's pretty funny. Typical Tory, right? Let's just have a little look. Let's just have a little look at this video. See what he's saying in this video. Let's have a little look. What's he on about?
Centre, and I'm campaigning to bring a fish and chip shop here to the centre of Uxbridge, and I need your support to help the campaign. Here's the thing, there isn't...
Bro. Okay, I want to say like 2 or 3 things about this, right? The first thing is that he's a Tory, he's an MP, he's a sitting MP. So one thing that he should know is that the government only accepts petitions through its official petition website, right? So, unless he's gathering email addresses so that the people that he puts forward on an official government, UK government petition through the portal, through the government's official portal, to be emailed to confirm that their name is okay to go on the portal, this is a waste of time. A waste of time, yeah? Because they don't listen to random petitions anymore. They've not done that for like over 6 or 7 years at this point, right? 6 or 7 years at this point. So this is a waste of time, yeah? Anytime you get a petition in the UK at the minute, it's a waste of time. Unless you're petitioning a business in particular, right? If you're petitioning the government, waste of time. You know what I mean? He might be petitioning the local council. That might be different. That could be different, actually. If he's petitioning the local council to allow a chip shop to open, but I don't understand what the point of that would be. You just have to like find someone who wants to open a chippy. Here's the other thing. All that's being experienced here in Uxbridge is the free market, right? Which is what Tories love, isn't it? They love the free market. Conservatives, they love the free market. They're like, yes, free market, that's the best thing. That's how you get stuff that people want. But the free market has decided, the invisible guiding hand of the free market has decided that there will not be a chippy in Uxbridge, hasn't it? That's what it's decided. So what do you want me to do about that, man? Like it's the thing that you like that has decided that there will not be a chipper in the middle of Uxbridge, wherever that is, right? I don't even know. It sounds like a made-up town, doesn't it, chat? And I'm from Britain. Yeah, I'm from Britain, and it sounds like a made-up town. Anyway, so there's that. And then also, maybe no one can afford to have a chipper in Uxbridge because, I don't know, it seems a bit posh. It seems like one of these like old market towns that's probably got like a lot of high business rates. And, you know, the overheads on a chippy are quite high. And the profit is quite low. Unless you're having like a really uptown, upmarket chipper that's having like, you know, the fucking 50 quid for a just like, you know, bit of cod and some chips, and it's got fancy tartar sauce with it or something to justify the cost. It's just not going to happen, is it? So stupid. Anyway, thank you for letting me know, London Cheesehead. Yeah, that was a bit. This fucking country is so normal, isn't it? So fucking normal.
They represent the interest of capital. And 9 times out of 10,
he might lose his seat at the general election.
To what is right?
Yeah, but like, who's going to replace him? Just like some fucking blue Labour. I'm not excited about that.
People who work in news stations leak information to investigative reporters when they do things like the New York Times did, or start your own indie outlet with your coworkers. People who work in shipping refuse to load ships bound for Israel. Heck, if you've got access to a jet ski, you can do what these people did.
Oh yeah, that's right. Direct Action gets the goods.
I'm not advocating for you to do anything illegal. That would be silly. I'm just saying
that's right,
there are
uptown
things we can all do to take the power from the soups,
dip it in the uptown dip,
and force the changes we want to see.
There's already 3 chippies in Uxbridge. No way. This has become a stun lock. Fish and chips, Uxbridge. Yes. Yes, there is. There's at least 3 fish and chip shops in Uxbridge. In fact, There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's so many chippies in Uxbridge. Why does this guy care? He just wants it specifically on the fucking... He just wants it specifically on the high street. This is so stupid, man. If you just go and Google it now, chat, you'll see there's loads. There's fucking loads. Culture publicity stunt, yeah. No, you were right, Dungeon Subboss. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
That's how it's always worked in the past, and that's the only way it'll work today.
There might even be more than 9.
I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that I recently joined Means TV. I'm really excited.
Okay, is this just Means TV at the end?
We rely entirely on grassroots support from viewers like you. The content...
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. That was a good video, chat. Very, very good stuff. Speaking about promo, yeah. Speaking about promo, please consider, I could really do with an extra 35 quid, chat. Just an extra 35 quid. That's all I need before the end of the stream. Consider it, yeah? Consider subbing off Twitch. Consider supporting the stream. Consider helping me pay my bill, rent. My one bill. Help me consider paying my bills, my rent, getting food, feeding the boy, the small furry boy that is sometimes on the stream with me. Please consider that. We need £33.33, so that would be 3 £11 donos, or I don't know, like 7, just whatever, 7 £5 donos. I don't know, 6 £5 donos and 1 £3 dono. So there you go. That's what we'd need to actually hit that goal. Anyway, I'm just gonna hang about for a hot sec, wait for that call to action to take effect, just in case anyone decides to throw me some donos. So please consider that. Why do I ask you to sub off Twitch? There we go!
Sonic will never again be a pain in my ass!
Gianna, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. You're really upsetting me with all these donos, Gianna. Gianna doing a lot of heavy lifting. A lot of heavy lifting in the stream tonight. Donated over £80. Thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Thank you very much, Gianna. But I don't want to see Gianna donating any more, chat. I know there's some other people in the chat who've got a $5 in their back pocket for their streamer. I know you're out there. I know you're watching. You're watching this and you're thinking, should I donate? Should I wait for someone else to donate? The answer to that is yes and no. Yeah? Don't wait for someone else to donate. Because what if they never do? What if they just never ever come back to the stream before? What if they just decide to go and touch grass forever? Yeah, they never go back online in their entire life. That might just happen. That person that you're waiting to donate to me right now, it's not going to happen, right? So please consider that. But thank you so much, Gianna. I really appreciate you subbing off Twitch and supporting the stream. You've donated so much today. Thank you very much. Okay. That might be it. I'm just gonna wait a little hot minute, see if anyone else chooses to donate. Just waiting for a hot minute. You're right, I will do that. Well, you know, you joke, but I do actually value if people decide to just like never come back to the stream. That's actually fine and good, isn't it? Because my kind of stream is all about trying to tell people to go out there and do direct action and actual revolutionary stuff rather than just vote in it. Do you know what I mean? So if people watch my stream and then they go, do you know what? Mule's right. I should go and join a union. I should go and join a tenants union. I should go and start an LGBTQ union or something like that. That's far more valuable to me than getting donos. Do you know what I mean? Well, getting donos is good because it means I get to survive and keep doing this job, but also, like, you know, it's also very valuable to build power so that people don't have to rely on money in the future. Everyone could just get everything that they need based on their needs, not their ability. And there you go. So yeah. Anyway, chat, right, I'm going to go to the toilet real quick. Use this opportunity to go and use the bathroom yourself, or take your meds if you've forgotten, get a little snack, get a drink, something like that. Look after yourself, have a stretch. We've been here for almost 3 hours, yeah? It's like waiting for New Labour 20 to do a U-turn. Hey, listen. We'll be waiting a lot less time for people to donate to the stream. I know that because I know my audience, and they're all amazing, wonderful, lovely chatters who look after me. So I know we won't be waiting that long. But actually, no, that's the joke, isn't it? That's the joke, because actually, New Labour will do a U-turn pretty soon, won't they? So it's not like... I think what I was trying to say... You made a much better joke, London Cheesehead, by the way. You made a much better joke, and I completely fucked it, because I read it completely wrong. No, the joke there is that New Labour under Starmer will do a U-turn in like 2 seconds, won't they? They'll just do it straight away. But I might have to wait a little longer than that to get a dono. So I completely understand. I was wrong. Bad streamer. I got it wrong. Anyway, listen, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be back in a second. Use this time to think about how bad I am at streaming, and maybe don't donate. That'll, it's a bad idea. Don't encourage me. Right, I'll be back. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Chat, I've got some good news for you. I didn't mention this earlier because... I thought it'd be a nice treat. Because we've had some more donos. We've had some extra donos tonight. It's been very, very good. We hit the monthly dono goal. We just have an extended dono goal to hit. But...
Sonic will never again be a pain in my ass!
From Secret Andy, thank you so much for the tenner. I don't know who that is, but thank you so much for... Whoa, just Johnny with the $5.
All I can muster, but for the boys.
Oh my god, 2 donos in a row. Can you believe it, chat? What the fuck? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for considering the boys and subbing off Twitch and supporting the stream. Really, really appreciate that. That's a dono of £15. £15 altogether. £15 altogether. So thank you very much. So £8.33 and counting. We need another £8.33 to hit that final dono goal. I believe we can do it, chat. I believe we can do it before the stream. You have the power. You have the power. You have the power. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to get some new sound effects soon because these are getting a little, you know, they're getting a little old now, aren't they? But thank you so much, everyone, for subbing up Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Thank you. Thank you, Johnny, and thank you, Tom's Secret Auntie, for supporting. I really appreciate you. What have I got? What is it? Well, I found another weird YouTube channel. This one's got a lot of subscribers, though, so they might not be weird, but it'll definitely be interesting. This video that we're going to watch is called the Santa Isabel Entity, and I don't know much about that. Yeah, I don't know much about what that means or what it represents, anything like that. But I've had this in my pinned videos, my pinned tabs on my browser for some time now. So I want to watch this video. It's probably going to be a little bit paranormal. So if you're not into ghost stuff, if you're not into like paranormal stuff, this isn't going to be for you. We're kind of coming out of the politics segment here, and we're having a little bit of fun. We're having a little bit of candy to sweeten the deal. Having to go through so much bad stuff. Are they American? I'm not sure. London Cheesehead. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to find out. We're going in this together, like true comrades. Yeah, we're all in this together. I've got no idea what this is gonna be like. It's a new video. I'm gonna be unpinning the current vid pin message at the top of the chats because we're not gonna be pinning this video for a current vid. Because I don't know if I should be promoting this. I don't know what it's going to be like. There might be all kinds of bizarre, weird, cringe stuff. But yeah, maybe we might be discussing paranormal stuff and death. So if that's not your bag, this bit isn't going to be for you. So yeah, there you go. Just consider that when we watch this video. I have absolutely no idea what this is going to be like. But let's enjoy it together, chat. Let's have a little laugh or get a little scared because it might be getting a little spooky, might be getting a little weird, a little scary. We can all get scared together, right? There you go. Okay, let's take a look at this and see what it's about.
Well, I still do, kind of. Remember when Shrouded Hand used to do supernatural topics? Well, I still do, kind of. I just tend to cover whatever random.
I don't think they're American, chat. It sounds Yorkshire.
Particular week. I don't have much rhyme or reason to what I cover, except that it's got to be creepy and interesting. But yeah, I haven't covered anything really weird in a while, and...
Yay, Shrouded Hand, you know this YouTuber, Gianno?
There is one story that's been running around in my head ever since I heard about it a few days ago. It's a truly bizarre tale, and I've wanted to dig a bit more into it, so...
Not Canadian, not American.
This is the Santa Isabel Entity Encounter.
Take that off your bingus card.
These events took place in late September 1972 in, of all the inexplicable places, an Ica Renault car factory in the city of Cordoba, Argentina. The factory is called the Santa Isabel plant. It's a huge industrial complex that's, even in 1972, spanned multiple...
Hey, up now, that's a ghostly fella up the street yonder.
Many different warehouse,
it is, isn't
office, and factory buildings connected by roadways.
Hey, Johnny, everyone go follow Johnny, by the way.
One of the workers there was Mr. Teodoro Merlo, a 56-year-old man who worked overnight as a guard at the Santa Isabel plant. One of the places that he was tasked with overseeing was the changing rooms of the forging section. Teodoro was working there in the early hours of the morning on the 21st of September. At 1:40 a.m, Mr. Merlo locked both the access doors to the changing room and made a note of it in his logbook. He then kept guard overnight, and nothing much unusual happened. The cleaners would be arriving at 6 a.m, so at 5:40 a.m, as was his routine, Mr. Merlo unlocked one of the doors to the changing rooms and went inside. Now, I'll describe the layout of this room a bit better just to set the scene. It was a large rectangular dressing room. In the middle here were showers, then around the outside of the showers were metal lockers.
This is a helpful diagram.
To store their things in.
I like it when YouTubers have diagrams.
In the centre were toilet cubicles, and facing the cubicles on opposite sides of the room were long trough-like wash basins. Teodoro.
Hang on a minute. What? This is really confused. This is a really confusing, like, toilet area. Is it just like piss troughs? Is it just urinals here? It's like a you know, a men's toilet kind of thing.
Merlot walked in through the door and proceeded up towards the first wash basin. Here he placed down some
Oh no, it's all
and soap.
cubicles.
There was a light on above this section.
Looks like stalls,
on the
yeah.
opposite side of the room where the other wash basin was located. The light was off, but there was enough ambient light from his area that he could still see over there quite clearly. As he turned to walk towards this other area, he was astonished to see, sitting on the opposite wash basin, an extremely strange figure. The man he saw was very tall, probably about 8 feet. He was also extremely muscular. He was wearing a tight-fitting dark blue outfit.
Hot. Sounds like a hot boy.
The feature was the creature's head. The skin was completely white and it looked like plaster. Its head was bold and rounded at the top. Its chin was broad and angular.
Chat, that's literally just me. It was just me.
Its eyes were described as slanted and horizontally arranged, but much larger than that of an Asian person. He also saw some darker spots.
What's with the Asian person comment? What the fuck? What's with the Asian person comment? What the fuck?
Spots or shadows on the entity's cheeks. Its ears were large and
okay.
reaching up much further than a human's would.
I am known to loiter in toilets, men's toilets. I am known to do that.
Unusual.
Yeah.
It was sitting on the basin with one leg stretched out and the other bent inwards.
Would you describe this as not sitting straight? Look, this is just a cat boy, chat. It's literally just a cat boy. That's all it is. It's a goblin, lost in Goblin Land once again. That's right.
Its left
this video's got me feeling like I'm lost in Goblin Land.
hand was resting on the basin, and the right was reaching up and touching its nose. Mr. Merlot
It's just someone doing sniff in the bogs.
Towards the entity, ready to confront what he assumed was an intruder. As he got within 3 meters of the thing, he glanced briefly in the mirror which was on the side of the toilet stalls. At this moment he says that there was a sound like metal being tapped on glass, and the light behind him went off. At the same time, the light in the area above the creature came on, and it caused Mr. Merlot to look back in that direction. When he did so, he saw that this strange man had vanished. Teodoro Merlot ran back towards the first wash basin and looked down towards the doorway. He was expecting to see the intruder running out through the door, but there was nobody there. There was a second door into the changing rooms, but that had been locked the whole night, and Mr. Merlot checked it again.
Not that you've ever done sniff in the bogs. Don't do sniff in the bogs. It's illegal and wrong. It's bad.
And the shower were also empty. The only other way this strange man could have got out was through air vents at the back of the room, but again Mr. Merlot checked these and they were closed. It was as if this strange creature had simply evaporated into thin air.
It's just like an elf man, yeah. It's literally just a goblin.
After overcoming his shock, Mr. Merlot noted some other strange things. The temperature in the room was unusually hot.
Law is the arbiter of morality, it's true.
And his
is it legal to do it in other places? I'm not an expert.
Painful headache and backache. All of these symptoms lasted for several days. Mr. Merlot didn't report his sighting to his superiors, at least not at first. He was afraid of being accused of neglecting his guard duty by letting an intruder get into the changing rooms. He did, however, make a careful drawing of what he had seen before he finished his shift, and then he returned home. This wasn't the end of his unusual experiences, though. What follows might be an even stranger encounter.
Gotcha. Can't wait.
After going home and resting, at 9:30 PM the same day, he got on the bus and headed back to work for another night shift. There were about 25 other people on the bus at the time, and Mr. Merlot sat about 3 seats from
Oh yeah, Johnny, good to hear it. Get yourself
Not
a new
long
job.
into
Let's
his
go.
journey, Mr. Merlot looked up and he spotted in the bus's rearview mirror the face of the entity that he'd seen in the dressing room.
Watch
This
out.
time its features
Here
were
come the
clearly
gremlin
visible as
man.
It didn't have its hand up over its nose. He could see now that the creature's mouth was very strange. Its upper lip protruded out over the bottom lip. He described it as being like a dog's mouth. Its nose was triangular and made up of straight lines, as if it had been
Sculpture made of the entity by Theodoro Merlot. Holy shit, man.
sculpted. He saw 2 brown marks on the cheeks, and there were 2 black lines under each eye.
It's just a clown, man.
Eyebrows were
It's just
thin
it's just a guy dressed as a
They
clown.
looked as if they had been painted on. The creature, he also noted, did not blink. Mr. Merlot turned around and checked behind him, but he saw no creature, only the other passengers on the bus. When he looked back in the mirror,
You can tell this guy's from fucking Yorkshire because he just called the bus the buzz. On the buzz.
The strange face persisted. He couldn't figure out what was causing this reflected image. He watched the mirror for around 3 minutes. Eventually the face faded away and it was replaced with the normal reflection of the bus and its passengers.
Sounds like a mirror demon, chat. It's a mirror demon.
Mr. Merlot continued on to work and he completed another night shift without seeing anything else eventful. However, he couldn't rid himself of the memory of what he'd seen in the dressing room and the bus's rearview mirror. He reported the sighting to his superior and a note was made of it. Nobody else was told about this sighting apart from the security staff. Mr. Merlot also said
Is that around River Mersey?
It wasn't taken very seriously by his superior.
The River Mersey. Hang on. It goes through Manchester actually. I think it starts in the Peak District. The River Mersey. River Mersey. So I don't think it actually is in. No, it actually starts in Stockport, near Manchester. So the source is in the Peak District, and various other like tributaries come into it from there. So no, it wouldn't go much beyond Manchester. Sort of to the east.
After that, he didn't see the entity again, but he did have a couple.
It's the confluence of the River Tame and River Goyt in Stockport. So the River Tame starts in the Peak District, and then the River Goyt is like the Goyt Valley is quite famous. It's like a really nice, beautiful place in the Peak District as well. So yeah,
strange things happened to him. At 2 a.m. on the 25th of September, Mr. Merlot and a colleague went to unlock the changing room and they found that none of the lights would switch on. At this point, Mr. Merlot became too afraid to enter the room, so they just locked the door and left it closed. When they returned to the room a few hours later, the lights seemed to be working fine. Also, on the 9th of October, Mr. Merlot noticed that both his wristwatch and the clock in his bedroom said that it was 4 a.m. When he checked the clock in another room, it said it was 5 a.m. The 5 a.m. clock was correct. It was as if Mr. Merlot and his bedroom had lost an hour somehow.
Bloody hell. Bloody hell, Brenda.
Weird, but I suppose you could always say that Theodoro Merlot was just hallucinating or having some kind of mental break or even just making the whole thing up. Not that I'm saying he is, just that if you wanted to look at these things skeptically, then the testimony of one man is pretty easy to dismiss when there's no proof. These things always get a lot more interesting when other people see the same thing, and that seems to be
British Standard Time, that's right.
Enrique Marino was a 19-year-old administrator at the Ica Renault plant. His job was in the teletype department, and he was tasked with distributing documents to various places in the complex. He would travel around the plant on a motorbike with a trailer on the back. In this trailer, he would carry documents from one building to another. At around 10:30 p.m. on the 27th of September, so this was 6 days after Mr. Merlot's sighting, Enrique Marino was in the engineering office dropping off some documents as usual. He was so used to this routine that he didn't even turn the light on in the office. He just dropped the papers on the table and was turning to leave. As he did so, the lights above his head flickered on and off 3 times. This, he noted, was unusual because these were fluorescent lights and they usually flicker when they come on, but this time they just came on and off without flickering. Immediately after the light went out for the 3rd time, he heard a loud humming noise like a turbine very close by. He also found this very strange because there wasn't any machinery operating nearby and he couldn't think of anything that would make that particular noise.
Mental.
He started to get pretty weirded out, but nevertheless he just continued on his rounds. At 11:13, as noted in his logbook, he was finished with his duties, and so he set out on his bike to make his way back towards the guard office and clock out. On his way there, he says he noticed something far away in the distance that looked like a rainbow. It was glowing very close to the ground, but he didn't pay much attention to it. As he got closer to the guard office, he passed by a row of vehicle chassis that were piled up along the side of the road. Behind the row of chassis, he saw a strange figure walking there. From a distance, he could only see the man's blue-green coloured clothing, and he thought that it might be a worker wearing green overalls, but from the height of the man, he seemed to be abnormally tall. He was half expecting it to turn out to be somebody on stilts playing a joke, but as he got to within 30 feet of the creature, it slowly turned round to face him.
Oh, creepy.
He saw that this wasn't any worker. The way the creature turned was highly unusual. As it turned its torso, its head and arms followed as if those parts of the body were stuck to the trunk and unable to turn independently. As soon as the entity faced him,
wait,
the engine on...
I don't understand that. As it turned its torso, its head
and arms followed as if those parts of the body were stuck to the trunk and unable to turn independently. As soon as the entity faced him, the engine on Mr. Marino's bike began to falter and the vehicle shuddered and slowed down. He put the bike into 2nd gear and pressed it on, but it just continued to decrease speed until, just as the bike was directly in front of the creature, it came to a complete halt. The report describes how the engine didn't actually stop. It continued...
I mean, it just sounds like it turned like a normal person, because, like, you could turn your head with your torso and your body, and so it just doesn't make any sense.
To run, but it was as if the bike's wheels were just nailed to the ground. The picture here shows Mr. Marino's position as he got close to the entity. The man in the foreground shows where his bike stopped. Mr. Marino is behind the chassis, showing where the creature stood. This creature was extremely massive, about 7.5 to 8 feet tall and very muscular. Its clothing looked to be made of a plastic material and it was a bright glowing blue-green colour. Its skin looked to be slightly green, but Mr. Marino wasn't sure if it was actually just white and the green colour was simply reflecting off its clothes.
It's Batman.
It also had on a silver belt with a large buckle and what looked like a holster.
It's just Batman, isn't it?
On the side. The face of the thing was very similar to what our first witness, Mr. Merlot, had seen, except that there were some differences. This creature did have a bald head, but it was described as being more angular. It had a wide jaw and the same triangular nose. All of its features seemed to be made up of straight, sharp lines, and it looked as if it had been sculpted. The ears were large and pointed, and they extended up above the top of the head. The eyes were round and yellow, looking like...
This guy kind of sounds like David Wenham.
He says that there were no eyebrows, eyelashes, or any other hairs on the creature's head. The mouth was just a thin, straight line.
Oh, the guy from Lord of the Rings who plays Faramir. Yeah, it sounds like his kind of like faux British accent, yeah.
He said that it appeared to be robotic.
Better than David Walliams.
Creature.
That's true.
Mr. Marino also experienced some physical effects. As he got close to the creature, he heard a loud ringing noise in his ears, and he felt a pressure as if someone was covering his ears. He also felt a tingling sensation in his body, and he found that he was unable to move any of his limbs. He only seemed to be able to move his head. He also noticed that it was very hot in that area, despite it being a cool night, and there was this odd smell in the air like burning oil. He estimates that he remained motionless in front of the creature for around 30 seconds.
No, yeah, he was doing... He wasn't really doing a Yorkshire accent in Lord of the Rings. He was just doing that, like, kind of generic English-sounding fantasy accent, yeah.
The creature moved. Then suddenly he felt a jolt, and it was as if his bike was propelled to the left and through a warehouse door, with him still riding it.
Fucking hell.
So I am translating these events from the original Spanish report, so hopefully there's not too much lost in translation, but it says that at this point his senses were still dulled and he felt as if he wasn't actually in control of his bike, but he still managed to maneuver it towards the guard room, turning multiple times, even though the bike was travelling at around 50 miles an hour in an area with a 5 mile per hour speed limit. He seems to be unsure whether he was actually controlling the bike out of instinct or if the bike was just being controlled by some...
Yeah, like Rhys Davies' generic Scottish-sounding accent for Gimli, yeah.
He's screeching to a halt, almost hitting the security barrier outside the office and earning himself a telling off from one of the guards. Another strange thing happened here. As he got to the guard office, the 11:30 siren went off, which signalled the end of his shift. Enrique Marino found this very surprising. He kept a meticulous record of his movements in his logbook. He'd finished dropping off the last set of documents at 11:13, then he'd driven over towards the guard office before seeing the strange creature. He estimated...
Kind of sound like Sean Bean, always in his brother's shadow. That's true.
The journey itself...
Oh no, that would make sense. It would make sense that Faramir would sound a bit like Sean Bean, because Sean Bean has a Yorkshire accent, and he might have been cast on his accent to do the Lord of the Rings character Boromir, and so he would have wanted to have like a similar accent, because it's like, yeah, it's his brother, so they would have a similar accent. Yeah, that makes sense, you know, that makes sense.
Would only have taken...
It's been a long time since I've seen those movies.
This means that he took 17 minutes to get from where he was, see the creature, and arrive at the guard office. He couldn't account for this missing time. Even stranger still, when he checked his watch, it still said 11:13 and it was stopped. Later analysis of the watch showed that it had been highly magnetized. He told the guard what he had seen, and the two of them returned to the area where Mr. Marino had seen the entity, but there was nothing there. However, when they checked behind the chassis in the area where he had seen the thing standing, they saw two rectangular depressions in the ground. The ground around these markings were unusually warm. At first, the guards just dismissed the sightings. They were making jokes and mocking Mr. Marino for seeing things, but they noticed that he appeared to be very sick. He'd gone very pale and faint, so they took him to the on-site medical office. It was here that Mr. Marino passed out. It was found that he had extremely low blood pressure, and so an ambulance was called.
That's so weird.
By the time the ambulance arrived,
like if these stories are true, and it kind of sounds like it because it's two different people on the same, manufacturing plant. Like what the fuck could it be? Like a robot UFO? Like an alien robot? And it has to like stop time or whatever, or make you like freeze or pass out or whatever, because it's like you're not supposed to see it. It's got like Star Trek Prime Directive rules.
Marino was starting to recover.
Could be poison gas from the manufacturing process. Yeah, could be.
The ambulance just took him back home. As they were travelling towards his house, Enrique Marino says that a whole host of strange words and numbers flashed through his mind. When he was later asked about these numbers and words, he said that he was unable to recall them exactly, except that they seemed to be coordinates, and he remembered the number 18. As they neared his home, Mr. Marino asked to be taken to his girlfriend's house instead. His girlfriend took him in, and he lay down on the sofa. He appeared to be in an extremely agitated state, repeatedly saying that he'd seen a mechanical man. Eventually he passed out on the chair, but...
Maybe do me when I finally understand my advanced maths class. That's right!
In his sleep, he appeared to be...
How you doing, Schlubby baby?
Trembling with fear. This wasn't Enrique Marino's only encounter with the mechanical man. The following day, he'd calmed down enough to return to work, so at around 10:30 p.m, he was collecting papers in one of the office buildings. He suddenly felt a strange sensation come over him. He said it was as if he knew he was being watched. He looked up and saw out of the window the very same creature that he'd seen the night before. It was standing in an empty patch of waste ground about 3 meters away. At the moment that he saw the creature, the fluorescent lights in the office began to switch on and off, and he again heard that humming noise that sounded like a turbine.
Dr. Manhattan, yeah, but green.
In fear for just a moment. Then he sprinted out of the room and went to the security office, where he attempted to get one of the guards to come and see the mechanical man. Now, from what the reports say, it seems that the guards thought that Mr. Marino was having some sort of mental breakdown. They just told him to sit down and have a coffee with them. They explained to him that his obsession with this mechanical man was causing him to hallucinate. They also told him to keep quiet about the sighting, not to relate it to any of his superiors for fear that his mental stability might be questioned. The reports also don't mention anything else after this incident. I assume that Mr. Marino didn't see the creature again, or at least he kept quiet about it if he did. But there is one more witness.
Oh shit!
52-year-old truck driver Lufthold Rodriguez. It was around 3:40 a.m. on September the 28th, so this was about 4 hours after Enrique Marino had seen the mechanical man whilst he was riding his motorbike. Mr. Rodriguez was delivering sheet metal to the Santa Isabel plant. After he dropped off his cargo, he was sat in the driver's seat of his truck preparing to depart. He then noticed that the area around the truck lit up from some unseen light source. Then someone came walking down the right-hand side of his truck. At first he couldn't see who it was because
massive man,
taller than the truck, so
fucking massive man
through the side window, but he could tell that this was a massively tall, muscular person. The person or creature walked in front of the truck, and there he got a much better look at it through the windshield. It reached the right-hand side of the truck's bumper, and then it suddenly stopped, turned and looked at him. At the exact same moment, the truck's engine stopped, the headlights went out, as did the streetlights that were nearby. He could still see the creature, however, because it was carrying a spherical object in its hand which emitted a glowing white light.
This is so weird, chat.
He noticed how, when it turned, its head and arms moved unnaturally as if they were firmly fixed to the torso and unable to turn independently.
What do you mean?
I also felt a strong buzzing.
Don't understand. Turn independently. It's just. I think this thing just probably moved a bit odd.
Sensation.
You know what I mean?
Head, and he felt completely immobilized. The truck began to shake violently, so much so that a transistor radio fell off the dashboard and broke. After turning to look at him, the creature turned back and continued on its way, walking towards a building and disappearing around the corner. He noticed as it walked it didn't bend its legs and had to rock from side to side as it shifted its weight between each foot. His description of the creature...
Andre the Giant, why are you here dressed as the Green Goblin? Why?
Bold head, an angular face that looked sculpted, a triangular nose and thin mouth, round bulb-like eyes, pointed bat-like ears. Its clothes were also the same bright green plastic material with a large silver belt and holster. He described the creature.
It's got
tall, about 8 to
no knees,
8.5 feet, and it was of an.
It is kind of like the Yude with the glowing orb in the hand, yeah.
Unnatural, as if it was just a shell. He also noticed that it was wearing silver rectangular boots.
What the fuck?
As soon as the creature had walked out of sight, then all the other effects, the head buzzing, the truck shaking, the immobilization stopped. Still, Mr. Rodriguez was so shocked by the encounter that he sat motionless for 2 to 3 minutes until a passing workman asked him what was wrong. He told them about the sighting, and a number of employees searched the area, but they found nothing.
Very freaky, isn't it?
It seems
very
that was the end of Mr. Rodriguez's experiences. Unlike the other 2 witnesses, he doesn't appear to have had a second encounter with the creature. Now, as far as I can tell, the 3 witnesses were completely unknown to each other, and none of them knew about each other's sightings. It seems that after Enrique Moreno and Luftold Rodriguez had their sightings, word somehow got around about the similarity between them, and at that point, I'm not sure, either a journalist got hold of the story or they simply got together and decided to go public, because their testimonies were published in a local newspaper. Our first witness, Teodoro Merlo, was still pretty much unknown by this point. He only came to light after a UFO researcher named Dr. Oscar Galindez got involved. He'd read the testimonies in the paper and he travelled to the area to talk to some senior management at the Ica Renault plant. He was then told that there was a third witness, Mr. Merlo, but he seemed very reluctant to come forward. He was eventually convinced by a senior manager. Dr. Galindez interviewed Mr. Merlo at the senior manager's house, but he had to promise that he...
If it is an extraterrestrial, yeah, if it's an actual extraterrestrial, it's so interesting. Like, why would it be drawn to this like one factory kind of thing? Is it some kind of like, you know, we need to figure out how humans are making cars or whatever it is that they make it, because it's a Renault factory, right? So if they're making cars, if they're making like, you know, chassis for cars, like, oh, they're making cars, like, how are they doing that? Do you know what I mean? Studying and stuff like that. It's also a great place to smoke space weed. That's true. That's true. Also, senior management forcing employees to do something they didn't need to do. Yeah, that's fucked.
He wouldn't show his photo in the report. Dr. Galindez eventually interviewed all 3 witnesses, and he was struck by how earnest and humble each one of them was. He was completely convinced that each man was telling the truth.
Argentina.
So, what happened here? I suppose we've got to look at some skeptical explanations here. Probably the one thing you've got to eliminate is whether or not the 3 men were simply lying, making up the story for some strange reason. It seems unlikely simply because all 3 witnesses faced a significant amount of ridicule for coming forward with this.
Well, also there needs to be a motive, right? Like, do you want to gain social capital? Well, that is counteracted by the ridicule that gets people when they report UFO sightings or paranormal sightings or whatever. But then the second thing you have to look at is the monetary gain that could potentially come from it, and it's like, well, did they make a book about it? Did they write stuff? Did they do a video or something like that? You know, that is, I don't know if that's the case. Maybe he's gonna say that in a bit. But also, like, on top of this, what possible reason would the company have to be like, yeah, this happened at our factory? Do you know what I mean? It sounds like would there be some kind of like corporate gain to having like a UFO sighting at your factory? Maybe, maybe not. Don't know.
Stories, and they possibly jeopardized their jobs at the plant.
Yeah, maybe.
That they somehow came up with the same lie independently of each other. I suppose it is feasible that somehow word got around. I've noticed that one constant between the witnesses seemed to be that the security personnel were the first ones to hear about it, so I suppose rumours could spread among the security personnel in different departments.
Yeah, they definitely would.
Then get to the staff members who...
Because security personnel are like cops, aren't they? So they love to chat shit about like anyone who isn't a cop, right? So yeah, it could easily be that.
Make up a story of their own. Again, it seems unlikely just because why wouldn't they make up a story just to face ridicule? But just because it seems unlikely doesn't mean that it's impossible.
Yep, that's true.
It's also possible that someone created a giant mechanical man outfit and stomped around the plant at night scaring random employees. it's a huge factory, and there would be a lot of materials available.
Scooby-Doo!
People who had manufacturing
Scooby-Doo moment!
who could possibly have built such a thing. Maybe someone cobbled together a weird alien outfit in their spare time. I've worked a few factory jobs and I know the kind of things that people get up to when they're bored. So it's entirely within the realms of possibility.
It would be so good if that was the truth. If that was the truth.
This
Fucking
wouldn't
hell.
explain some of the other effects, though. The feeling of pressure and the sound of ringing in the heads of the witnesses, the sensation of being rooted to the spots, the spontaneous mechanical malfunctions of the vehicles, which suddenly would spring...
if it's true, and if all the things that the people are saying about it are true, that one particular guy, what was his name? Enrico Merlo. No, that was Teodoro Merlo. The guy called Enrico, I think. The one who had the scooter, he was talking about how he could see like equations in his head and stuff like that. So if it is like a robot UFO, and it's trying to communicate, it's trying to do like telepathic maths language. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It's like emitting a frequency that makes you have a headache, and you're like, fucking hell, and then all of a sudden you've just got all these numbers in your head. And if it's giving you coordinates, it's trying to be like, this is where we are in the galaxy, this is where we're from, kind of thing, which would be freaky as fuck, actually.
Back to life moments later. Mr. Merlo's sighting in the bus's rearview mirror might be the most intriguing detail here. If he was lying, then why would he include this detail? It just seems so out of place compared to the rest of the experience. It also discounts the idea of it just being a prank, because when he turned around he would have seen it there on the bus with him. If I had to come up with a halfway plausible, skeptical rundown of the events, it would be something like this. Teodoro Merlo, the first witness, possibly did see something. He may have had a mental breakdown or an episode of psychosis, a mini stroke, and this caused him to hallucinate this strange person or entity. We know that after his sightings he made a sketch of what he saw, and he also sculpted the head in clay. We know that the security personnel at the plant heard about the description, and it's also very possible that they saw the sketch. From there, with word spreading around the factory, somebody, I don't know who, built an outfit that looked very similar to what Mr. Merlo had seen. Notice how with the next two sightings, which came a few days later, there are subtle differences from what Mr. Merlo saw. Teodoro Merlo had seen a round-headed, slanted-eyed creature with markings on its cheeks and below its eyes. It also had thin eyebrows. The other two witnesses saw something with a squarish head, round eyes, no markings or...
But you also saw it in the dark, right?
That somebody attempted to recreate the creature and didn't get it exactly right. Then all they would have to do is walk around a few times at night and spook a couple of unsuspecting employees. Note that all the witnesses kept very tight schedules and regular routines, so it's highly likely that someone, for example the security staff, would know that those people would definitely be there at certain times of the night. What about the other effects? The buzzing in the head, the headaches, and the sensation of being rooted to the spot? The only thing I can think of is these were simply the effects of extreme shock or fear.
Could just be fear or adrenaline,
The vehicle malfunctions could have been a coincidence, perhaps, or maybe there was some kind of mechanical tomfoolery going on. I don't know though. If it was just a prank, then it would be an extremely elaborate one. I think it would be difficult to replicate some of those effects using today's technology, let alone what they had in the 1970s.
Yeah,
it gets to the point where the skeptical explanations become almost as implausible as the paranormal ones. For all we know, there really was a buff robot alien wandering around a random car factory in Argentina.
Buff robot alien.
Of 1972.
I love a buff robot alien sniffing his finger.
Sightings, although these are slightly more dubious. Dr. Galindez was told by security personnel that a number of people had reported seeing glowing lights in the sky around the same time as the sightings of the creature. Apparently 2 people, independently of each other, had seen some kind of craft hovering very close to the factory, then send down a column of light, or what was described as a crystal tube, and kind of hoover up a creature from the ground.
Smell you later.
Very similar to the entity that was seen by the 3 men. Unfortunately, it seems that these witnesses were either unable or unwilling to come forward to officially give their testimonies, so we only have word of mouth here. It's worth mentioning, but again, slightly dubious because we haven't got first-hand testimony. So yeah,
we'll never know, chat.
This story, it's just one that I heard about a few
wonderful
days ago,
mystery.
I've been kind of fascinated by it, but after researching it, I still don't know. If it was just a prank, how did they cause someone's watch to stop and their motorbike to be rooted to the ground? How did they cause the image of a face to appear in a bus's rearview mirror? There's a lot of things that don't really add up to this story, and that's probably why I find it so intriguing. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about it.
I did.
Is it fakery, fiction, or a genuine occurrence of the paranormal? I just don't know.
We'll never know, chat.
If you like this kind of thing, I will point you to my video on the Sandown Clown. If you haven't seen that already, then go check it out.
Chat, we're gonna watch loads of this guy's videos this coming month.
And it happened just 8 months after these Argentina sightings. It's not exactly the same thing, but it is a tall humanoid with a white face, pointed ears or antenna, strange markings on the cheeks, and strange artificial looking features.
Let's fucking go.
Could the two events be linked somehow?
Hell yeah.
Maybe. But anyway, if you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. So, big thank you for watching, and a huge thank you to everyone on Patreon who is supporting the channel.
Right. There you go, chat. Brilliant. Little bit of a cheeky little paranormal video. Smash it in there. I thought it was going to be a little funny, but it just ended up being something that I really enjoy. So I'm pretty happy about that. Unfortunately, chat, it does mean that we're now at the end of the stream. I'm sorry that I didn't start streaming a little earlier today. I did say I was going to try and do that. So yeah, unfortunately, I had a bunch of stuff to do after the doctors. So yeah, I couldn't start the stream earlier. So I'm sorry it's been a short one, but I'm probably going to be back tomorrow and do some gaming. A little bit of gaming for the community. Yeah, I'm hoping that's going to happen. I have no reason not to. No worries, mate. Thanks for the stream we got. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the donos today. Really appreciate that, chat. We hit the dono goal for the month, and I'm so happy. Thank you, everybody who's donated. Gianna, thank you so much for all the donos today. Catgirl Steph. Who else has been donating? We had some anonymous donos. Who's this now at the end? Catgirl Steph with the $5. Thank you so much. Holy fucking shit. Not just a $5, but a little bit over, £8.33. Just as I was saying a name, we hit the fucking actual extended dono goal, rounding it up. Thank you so much, Catgirl Steph. Thank you so much, Gianna. Thank you so much, Johnny. Thank you so much, Rambimon, for all the donos today. And thank you, everybody, for all the donos this month. Really appreciate you all subscribing off Twitch, making sure that I could keep doing this stream, could keep doing this work. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for being here, Ninny. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yeah, make sure to stop by tomorrow. I will be streaming tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it. And definitely on Saturday, we're going to be doing the educational game stream. And don't forget the Discord movie night, Saturday night at 6 p.m. UK time, watching I, Daniel Blake, and Heavy Metal. Very exciting. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the raids today. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for lurking. All that kind of stuff. If you're watching this video on the YouTube VOD channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out. Also, we are going to go and raid the one, the only David Tovarich. He's a leftist political streamer, just like me. And hopefully you will enjoy his content as much as you enjoy mine. So join me for the little raid as we go say hi to David. He's currently taking a look at what looks like some kind of DIA thing. I'm not entirely sure, but we're going to go raid him and we're going to find out. Chat, thank you so much for the stream tonight. It's been really, really fun. I will see you tomorrow. I'm not sure what game I'm going to play, but we'll hang out. We'll have a good time, as always. Yeah, if you just can't deal with 24 hours without me, don't forget, I'm on all the socials. I'm constantly posting TikToks, Instagrams, all that kind of stuff. I'm on all the different social medias, so go and follow me on there. Yeah, I'll see you in the next stream. Mwah. Stay excellent to each other. Peace, 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 peace. Good night, good night, good night.